So look like this guy, not the smartest guy in the book, but he's like, he's trying to figure out how to get rid of a body. And, we got to keep thinking this is where the parents are wrong. This is where the parents, to me, got to get blamed. Your daughter is missing for 2 weeks. That means she's just dead. And there is no type of investigation. Like, what's going on? So he clearly he's thinking about burying her body on the 24th. Then he's looking like, all right, man, fuck it. I'm just going to have to cut the body up or try to drain the body of blood into this pool or whatever. And it says on May 8th, 3 days later, he returns to the same area in the county, leaving his home at 11:30. Returned again at May 31st. This isolated site off where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered, looked like he was starting to throw away little by little everything to do with her. Also, a burn case was brought to his home under the same fake name as part of his plan. So this guy, he's like stupid smart. So he orders something under someone else's name, but he orders it to his house. Like, I don't know why, bro. Like, if you're gonna do that, order it to like a house nearby and stalk the delivery guy. You get what I'm saying? Like, at least do that. Like, order it to like down the street and stalk the delivery guy and don't order it to your house, but put a different name. Because when the cops investigate, they're gonna be like, "There's no Victoria Mendez that lives here, motherfucker."
Definitely from hitting the line, 1.6.
What's your reaction when you do hit that pick in the fourth quarter?
There's no better feeling. I'm ecstatic. It's not even about the winning the money.
Purchases under the fake name Victoria Mendez. On May 8th, 2025, defendant returned to the same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home at around 11:30 p.m. He returned to the area again on May 31st.
I agree, or like a bando. You see what I mean? Like, don't do it to a P.O. box, but do like just order it not to your house, dummy.
First of 2025, this is an isolated site off SR 154 where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered in January 2026. Additionally, on July 7, 2025, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered a burn cage to his home under the same fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. Moreover, defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body. After placing her body into the blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from spilling onto his garage floor, defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. Small blue plastic fragments were found embedded in the victim's remains, which were collected by the Los Angeles.
Okay, so they're saying that he cut her up. He cut her up in the kiddie pool. Now, boy, should just watch that episode of Dexter. He trying to bleed the body out, hang the body upside down. I learned that from Dexter. So he was trying to, like, clearly, that's one of the main things you get caught for, because blood is going to, blood, even if you clean it up, is going to leave a trace that can be seen by certain lights. So he's trying to bleed her out or something of the sort.
County Medical Examiner's Department. The fragments were analyzed by the LAPD's forensic science.
When they kill goats and pigs, they hang them upside down, right? Gravity's going to bleed the person out, bleed the thing out,
Division Trace Analysis Unit, an expert was able to match a physical fit match from the blue fragments to the blue inflatable pool purchased by defendant in May 2025. In order to distance himself from the victim, he amputated her left ring and pinky fingers because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his name. Her fingers
said, I grew up in Jamaica, we kill goats. Like, ain't nothing better than when we about to have a good old party and killing a goat is suspected. Like, you kill a goat. By the way, it's the same thing with chickens. With chickens, you usually put them under a crate, the neck sticks out, you chop the neck off, the body flails for a while, then the body dies, but then to bleed it out, you hang it upside down, all the blood comes out. So what happens? Feel me?
Have not been recovered. Defendant then placed her head and torso into the cadaver bag he purchased. He placed her limbs into a garbage bag, which he deposited into his front trunk, laying the cadaver bag on top. For several weeks or possibly months, defendant left the victim's body to decompose inside his Tesla. Okay, of course, there will be.
That is a question that's going to continue to happen, though. Why did he just leave it in the car? I feel like he must have gotten busy. Like, he was taking, tremendous steps. Like, I don't know why Dexter keeps popping in my mind. I'm like, yo, bro, start throwing away body part by body part in the sea, in the ocean. Nigga, book a yacht and just like throw. Like, I'm not laughing because it's necessarily funny, but I'm just trying to compare it. And sometimes I see some crimes and you start thinking like, damn, this kind of looks elaborate, and then you see the dumbest outcome. Right? Okay, you did all that work to chop the body up at 7:30. You left it in a car that you owned in the front, in the sweltering sun, that it would get caught, and you parked the car illegally a couple blocks away. Good job, you fucking idiot. Right?
A battle of experts and questions of how the evidence.
Oh, you went on tour, right? So he probably was under the kind of the assumption like, I have to keep acting like nothing is wrong. If he canceled a date, it would seem like it's wrong, right? Like, you'd be like, yo, what's wrong with him? Is he sick? If he canceled, like, say he canceled one date. So he was probably trying to do as much as he could, but act normal. But I'm going to be honest with you. If he was trying to get away with this, you got to start getting rid of these body parts. You got that hand got to be in fucking Wichita. You know what I mean? Somewhere. It got to be in Pontiac, Michigan. Right? It got to be in Flint. You get what I'm saying? That got to be in the Hoover Dam. It got to be in Grand Rapids. It got to be. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know how he thought. I wonder. This is like trying to understand the brain of a psychotic human being, but I'm really wondering what he thought he was going to do to get away with this. Because it feels like an unfinished plan. And then I'm wondering what his friends are saying to him about this. Because if he invited her over to his house, remember, she gets there at night, I believe. It was an 80-mile ride. She rode in like a rideshare vehicle. Are none of his friends that knows that he deals with her asking like, yo, what happened to Celeste? Where is she at? What is he telling them?
It's collected, what does it mean, how it's maintained, but potentially making the blue fragments match is huge. If you match the pool to him, you match the pool to Celeste, that's going to be critical. The alleged purchase history, this digital trail, some of the most potentially damning evidence out there. We have seen historically that has been hard for defense attorneys to argue away or explain away. I saw this idea that perhaps, maybe these materials were purchased for some sort of music video. That could be a tough sell, particularly you talk about the timing, right? The timing of when authorities say Celeste was killed, unless there's going to be a dispute, not only about cause of death by the defense, but also time of death. Why would you allegedly purchase those things? And if the order and delivery records couldn't...
Yeah, we don't have to guess why we know he did it, right? So, like, a lot of times with these situations, Chad, when we're covering them, we kind of, like, have common sense, but when we get to court, it's not about what you know, it's what about what you prove, right? Like, even the Melly situation, like, I think you guys kind of know what's up, right? But, like, it's not about what you know, it's what you can prove. This is what court is. Okay, we know David killed her. We don't know the circumstances. We don't know what helped. But we're going to see what defense he's going to put up, and we're going to see more details that the police are going to allege that happened, and see what proof they have of it happening. They clearly have connected some Postmates orders for shovels, the Amazon for the body bag. I'm going to be honest with you, this guy just seems incredibly stupid. If you just kill somebody, why the fuck would you? It's like killing somebody and going on Amazon and typing in, I want to order a casket. Why the fuck would you do that? Like, if you're trying to, remember, we agree, he went to make his tour to not stick out as, damn, this dude was missing in action around that time. Maybe he was killing her. He wanted to show it's business as usual, that no one could have any type of suspicion because he showed up to all his appointments. If you're that guy who's trying to be yo, there's nothing suspicious going on. Why would you go on Amazon and order a body bag? Come on, bro. Well, I guess I'm answering my own question. He must have thought that ordering it under that fake name, Victoria Mendez, was really going to protect him. But even then, it's still stupid because you ordered it to your house. You ordered it to your house. Who gives a fuck about it?
David was renting or staying at after Celeste was identified. They reportedly found all sorts of evidence in the garage to support this claim, this argument of dismemberment, including biological evidence that tested positive for blood. They say they were able, again, to match the evidence to the victim's unique genetic profile. I mentioned that before. Talking about the pool again, this reportedly had multiple linear cuts. And on top of all that, according to the prosecution's brief, surveillance video and other evidence confirmed defendant was the last person to drive the vehicle on July 29, 2025, before he left Los Angeles on a concert tour. And remember, her body was discovered about a little over a month later. And the filing states that David lied to friends, business associates, and others about the strong smell of decay in and around the home and the car. So it could be very difficult for defense attorneys to say, he was completely in the dark, he's being framed, he had no idea what was happening, what was going on. Although, is it possible someone else maybe had access to the car afterwards? Possibly, but does that negate his alleged knowledge of what was going on? So it goes to the idea of who may be a cooperating witness as well, right? What did they observe about the car? What did they smell? What did they ask David? So this all makes me wonder in terms of a defense. I wonder if defense attorneys could get to the point and say, look, yeah, he bought all the stuff. Yep, we're going to acknowledge that. He purchased all.
Okay, now, when we're starting to evaluate what could be a defense, remember, he has to make no admissions. I think we all know on a common sense level where if he didn't kill her, he knows who did. It's one of those, right? If you didn't kill her, you know exactly what happened to her. But remember, because he has the right to remain silent, and he could always plead the fifth, he doesn't have to make a statement. And how it goes in court is that the prosecutor has to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. He doesn't have to explain any of the things that make him look weird. For example, why was she dead in your trunk? He doesn't have to give an explanation. The prosecutors have to use that information to say that actually points to him doing it. Now, remember, he could get off on just providing reasonable doubt. And what could reasonable doubt be? Well, in cases like this, reasonable doubt usually ends up being, hey, listen, somebody else did the crime. So the first thing is, when you're charged with a crime, the best way or the easiest way is to be like, well, are y'all sure the crime even existed? So if they never found the body, right? Say they never found the body. In Vybz Kartel's case, they arrested him for the murder of I think it's Clive Lizard Williams. That's the guy's name. And they claim Vybz Kartel killed, dismembered, and got rid of any traces of the guy. They never found him. And, there was so many theories. Some people felt like he was, butchered, body parts sprinkled across Jamaica. Some people feel like that Vybz Kartel used his funeral home connects to cremate the guy. And they never found him. So they were trying to convict him of murder. And the murder, you don't have a body. Well, here's the first defense you're going to have as defense attorneys. Well, if we don't have a body, we don't have a murder weapon, how are we sure that a murder happened? And that's a really good defense. Why? Because it's on the defense, or it's on the prosecutors to prove that they, beyond a reasonable doubt, they could prove the murder. They could prove the person's dead, number one. Number two, prove it was a murder. And number three, after they prove those two things, they got to prove that you did it without the biggest piece of evidence, which is the body. So that gives you a really good chance. Now, in this case, they got the body. However, what I believe that he's going to do in trying to prove this case that, it ain't me, or try to defend himself, he's going to go with this defense, right? How do you know it was me? So you can't deny the person did. You can't deny that's in your car. But what you can make in terms of a defense is you have a theory that I bought these things. You have a theory that I cut her up with a chainsaw. But you don't have any video, and you don't have anyone who could say they saw me do it. So all I'm going to do is just muddy the water. Oh, did anyone in the house have any history of using a chainsaw? Did they actually use a chainsaw for a legitimate purpose? Cut down a tree or a branch in the backyard? Um, did other people frequently drive his car? Remember, he's a big celebrity. Maybe the assistant drives the car to go get groceries and milk. These are things that he's gonna probably throw in the air to make it seem like. And by the way, it's kind of like what YNW Melly is doing for his defense, and it worked the first time because it ended with a mistrial. It basically says, "Hey, we're not denying that people die. We're just saying that, without us giving an explanation or ulterior story to what could have happened, we just want y'all to tell us what y'all think. We just want to throw it out there that it could have been a drive-by, it could have been other people, it could have been anything, and yes, it could have been Melly too. But are you willing to convict him for life when the burden of proof is on the prosecutor and the standard is beyond a reasonable doubt?"
There's an app called Beagle Live, and believe it or not, pretty girls message you first. You never know when you'll meet someone you like, and you don't want to miss that chance. What are you waiting for? Download Beagle Live and create your profile now.
I was at the store with $12 in my account and an empty fridge. Payday? Still 3 days away. That's when I opened Till. In less than 5 minutes, I got a Till cash advance up to $400 sent straight to my account. With no interest, no credit check, and no stress. Groceries covered, no guilt, no games. Till doesn't judge you for living paycheck to paycheck. They just help you get to the next one. So if you're ever in a bind, don't wait. Check your eligibility, get your offer, and move through life with a little less weight. Visit Till.com today. Cash that meets you where you are.
So I think that's going to be his defense here too.
All this stuff after prosecutors claim she died, right? They may not say she was killed, that she died. So maybe they may make the argument he wasn't responsible for her death. Maybe she died in another way, and then in a panic, he was just part of the disposal, or he helped with the disposal. I don't know if they're going to say perhaps someone else is responsible for her death. I mean, I've seen cases like this before out in Florida. The James Scandarito case, found not guilty of murdering his father, but guilty in connection with the dismemberment. Took the stand, told us, well, we get to this. So investigators contend that April 23rd was when Celeste was allegedly killed by David. Soon after.
Now remember, so she dies April 23rd. The nigga don't buy he doesn't buy a chainsaw till the 5th. So he was kind of panicking or trying to figure out how to get rid of this body. At that time, the body has to be still in his house. Now, that's important if you're an investigator. So he kills her, and almost 2 weeks later, he moves the body. So the body is in his house somewhere, right? He has not chopped up the body. He's not gotten rid of the body at that point. And he's trying to figure out what to do. The first thing he does is try to order a shovel. Because he's thinking, could I dig a hole? Until people realize it's pretty hard to dig a fucking hole. So he's trying to figure out, how do I do this? Now, what I would say, and maybe he's smart enough that he kind of went around this, well, once you check his devices, laptops, computers, iPads, you're going to probably notice what he's Google searching for. Is he searching how to get rid of a body? How to clean up blood? How to, how to stop making a body make these noises? Because, yes, after you die, in the post-mortem processes, there's a lot of different bodily changes that starts happening to a corpse. Gases build up. Sometimes these things, there's a lot of things that happen. And who knows, right? So maybe he Googles how to cover the smell. Who knows? So they're going to be checking that history, right? If he's ordering stuff under other people's name, maybe he goes to a public library or something like that and does a Google search there. But he probably does some type of Google search, an AI search or something of the sort. They should probably check his phone, all his other friends' phones. And yes, doing stuff on incognito doesn't mean you can't find it. But it takes about 2 weeks to figure out what he wants to do with the body. And this is also a little bit confusing because, in y'all saying he should get the needle, well, part of him getting the needle is this line and wait portion, which means it's premeditated. You sat there and waited for her to come over and you killed her. Let's say he's found guilty. In sentencing, it could be used that he doesn't get the needle to say, hey, he clearly was unprepared in the event of her death because he only ordered a shovel then. It's not like he had a shovel before. Like, somebody already premeditatedly planned your death. If you show up, they got the fucking chainsaw, the shovel, and everything already locked and loaded. But if they're ordering stuff afterwards, they could have been like, oh man, we got in an argument, we got in a fight, I hit her, and she just passed out, and then I panicked and I was trying to figure out how to cover the body. By the way, the difference in that is like 20, 25 years and life, right? So if that's the story, right? It says, hey, listen, yeah, me and her were arguing, I hit her with a pot, like, you know what I mean? She hit me with something, I hit her with a pot, and then she passed out, and I realized she died, and then I was covering up the body. He'll get 25 years. He won't get life, right? Now, granted, it's a really heinous case, so like everyone wants him to get life, and maybe a DA won't be that generous, but that would be like a 25-year sentence, where because that's not a first-degree murder. First-degree murder usually means not only could that mean capital murder, it usually means premeditated, right? If he hit her and she passed out or died, that could be a manslaughter charge. It could be like a third-degree murder case, and that significantly would carry less time. So that might come around sentencing, but the details are going to help prove that if they ever have to finally, kind of, argue against the death penalty. Is he was not prepared. He got a shovel, then he's like, well, I can't bury her, and then he got a chainsaw and a kiddie pool. So, and it took 2 weeks after the person died.
After arriving at the house in the Hollywood Hills, how do they know that? How do they establish that time frame? From the court filing by the prosecution, it says, quote, at approximately 8:40 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025, defendant sent an Uber to transport the victim from her Lake Elsinore home to his residence. Again, the digital records will be key here. You don't always have that in other cases. They communicated before and during her Uber ride, which dropped her off at defendant's Hollywood Hills home around 10:10 p.m. Okay, so again, the digital records, the text messages, the potential testimony of this driver. At approximately 10:30 p.m., defendant sent text messages to the victim inquiring where she was. So it might be hard for the defense to say that message wasn't sent the time frame. So you're looking at this 20 minutes. What happened? Prosecution says the people contend this was part of defendant's premeditated plan to cover up the murder as she was already dead by this time. It's a good point, right? I mean, like, why would he text her or allegedly text her if she was at the house? I mean, is this house so big he didn't know where she was? I don't know. Or does it go to this narrative that
he started making an alibi. So the reason why they believe that she's dead, that he killed her, so the body's too decomposed to have a time frame. So usually say somebody dies here and the police pulls up tomorrow, they could kind of figure it out really almost down to the hour how long the person's been dead. The body goes through certain changes depending on the temperature, the environment that the body is in, the status of the body, and also the nature of the injury. Decomposition, rigor mortis, and other things will affect the body that a trained coroner, a medical examiner, is going to be like, okay, this person's been deceased for this amount of time. Now, there was, in the case of Celeste, severe decomposition, severe rotting. She was missing an eye. They were saying basically bugs and maggots were feeding on her. And she was missing actually amputated limbs or digits, actually. Now, because they can't determine the time of death based on that, and the way they determine the date of death is that due to the general composition, it kind of limits the area, and then they know and they're matching that up with when she showed up. So when they're saying that they feel like she was dead before the text message, that's actually more of a narrative thing, where they're like, they believe if she showed up at 11 p.m. and 3 hours later he texts her, where are you at? She probably got killed and he's creating an alibi. So that's when they're picking the time. Now, granted, his defense, if you ask me, is going to be, it says she was dropped off, but she never came to my house. I never seen her. Now, of course, that's going to be kind of like tossed up upside down, because they're going to be like, you never seen her, but she was found dead in your car. Who else got keys to your car? Who moved your car? Why you ain't trying to use the car this whole time? And how are you the last person to use the car after her death, and you didn't know she was in trouble? So there's a lot of things he has to overcome.
You know, he's trying to cover up the tracks and trying to say something happened to her. Quote, knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career, as she had threatened very soon after her arrival at his home, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. Now, I will tell you, I don't know what evidence they have to definitively establish what happened behind closed doors. This is their narrative. This is their theory. And by the way, I will get into a little bit more about the special circumstances allegations, that this is not just a murder, according to prosecutors, but a very specific kind of murder, the motive behind it. Quote, at no time did he call law enforcement or 911 or take her to an emergency room to attempt to save her life. And that's important because they'll say that this wasn't a case like, you know, they got into a fight, she attacked him, he panicked, you know, killed her as a result of self-defense, called 911. They're ruling that out. Quote, despite knowing she was dead and her family was trying to find her, the evidence will show defendant lied and claimed he didn't know where she was. In fact, defendant drove to Santa Barbara County immediately after the victim died, attempting to dispose of her property and destroy evidence at approximately 11:30 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025. He drove away from his home as he texted and called the victim's phone, asking where she was. Again, these were acts calculated and planned to set up his defense within a very short timeline after the victim's vicious murder. Defendant drove his Tesla north on the 101 freeway to San Marcos Pass Road, SR 154, near Lake Cachuma in Santa Barbara County. Now I'm wondering if there are potentially cameras capturing this movement. He returned home early the following morning on April 24th, 2025, before going to a radio interview for the release of his album that week. He sent 2 additional texts to the victim's phone that day, which obviously went unanswered because she was already dead. I'm going to talk about interviews in a little bit, by the way. After April 26, 2025, defendant never attempted to contact her again. That's important. That's important. If the phone records establish he didn't text her or call her,
Yeah, that's going to imply some guilt. It's going to absolutely imply some guilt that she's never contacted again. If he was generally concerned about her, why never contact her again?
and he's completely innocent, that would be surprising, right? Somebody, at the very least, you know, that he knows has a connection with. She disappears, he's not going to try to contact her. Again, this is the prosecution's narrative. We'll see what the defense says, but another piece of evidence. Quote, defendant's cellular activity and communications derived from defendant's iPhone and Tesla, which demonstrate defendant's activities from April 22nd, 2025 through April 24th, 2025, including a trip to Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night after the victim arrived at his Hollywood Hills home. Evidence. Evidence. So that's the key here, that why prosecutors are going with lying in wait, silencing a witness, the special circumstances allegations to enhance the potential penalties for the murder charge, that David planned this, that it wasn't like they were arguing and something happened or she had an overdose and he panicked. They are making the argument that this was planned, this was premeditated, that he allegedly wanted her dead to keep her quiet about their alleged secret relationship, that she was a minor, prevent her from exposing this, ruining his career. Now things like the cell phone records, the rideshare records, the digital data will be crucial, which is why it's not surprising when Steve Fisher, the PI, says there are over 50 search warrants in this case. That's the kind of evidence in 2026 that tells so much of the story and can be very difficult for a defense attorney to refute. Placing time, location. Now, on the other hand, I don't believe authorities have the alleged murder weapon. I don't believe there's an eyewitness to this alleged attack. I don't believe there's surveillance footage showing this alleged attack, as far as we know. So is that room?
I think there is video somewhat of it. I think he's done. I think his biggest fuck up was leaving it in the car, right? But I think time ran out, or you know, even though it's really stupid because like shit, if I'm that nigga, even if I'm performing, nigga, after my show, I'm like, yo, I'm going to sleep and I'm going back. I've got to get rid of that body. You know what I'm saying? You got to go do it. But I do think that he's done a lot more to cover up this crime, because I could tell there's a camera everywhere now. You're telling me there's no not DoorDash, Jesus Christ, I'm over here, DoorDash. There's no doorbell camera that caught him, like, I don't know, walking out to the dumpster, like caught him with the bag. There's nothing in the area that shows him picking up these items he bought. There's no, like, there was a doorbell camera or like a ring camera that heard the shots getting fired in the Tory case. There's nothing that heard a loud chainsaw, yeah, like nothing. I think, bruh, well, actually, now remember, a lot of ring cameras write themselves over. Maybe it's because of how long it took the police. They didn't get all these details, or they missed out on maybe so much other info they could have gotten. Because remember, due to the parents being absolute fucktards, like, they didn't get a chance to really go check into this crime for a really long time.
Most days out here, you're walking through wet grass, mud, and plenty worse. Folks who've been wearing these ankle boots on farms told us the same thing. They stay dry, they don't slip, and they rinse clean with just a hose. Made with American full-grain leather and lined with real Gore-Tex. They keep water out, but still let your feet breathe. They're lighter than most work boots, yet steady enough to stand all day without feeling worn down. We've already sent out thousands of pairs across farm towns, and the feedback's been steady, comfortable, tough, and easy to care for. They're half off right now, and you've got 30 days to try them at home. They don't match what I'm saying here. Just send them back. No trouble at all.
Children's life is full of wahala. Let's sleep, no work, endless sacrifices. But sending money with send is easy. Download SendWave now and send money with
Room for reasonable doubt. And one way prosecutors are going to tell this story and try to prove those special circumstances allegations surrounding the alleged murder will also be evidence of the alleged illegal sexual relationship. Sexual relations with a minor. Digital plus time. What do I mean? From the evidence list, again in the brief, it says the description of photographs depicting the victim naked, as well as while she was engaged with defendant in sexual activity when she was 13. As this evidence constitutes child sexual abuse material, the photographs themselves will not be presented. While all possible charges that could be proven were not filed, the CSAM is proof of their ongoing sexual relationship while the victim was 13 and 14 years old. So if this material is on his devices, again, quote, numerous text messages between defendant and the victim evidencing their sexual relationship, pregnancy, abortion, and use of Plan B emergency contraception. Messages through March 2025 prove defendant continued to manipulate the victim as she messaged, all we do is have sex and just hang out. Man, I want more than that for myself. These messages were obtained from defendant's iCloud data. So again, the digital data could help prove the sex charge. And we reported this yesterday on Sidebar, but the death certificate has been updated. This is per reporting from TMZ to suggest that it is unknown if Celeste was pregnant, even though there was nothing in the actual autopsy report, as far as we could tell, to suggest that she was. So it is a little confusing here. I spoke to Joseph Scott Morgan on my News Nation show, Jesse Roper Live, last night. He said they may have to just do that because of the investigative findings of the messages about pregnancy and, Plan B and abortion, and because Celeste was dismembered and decomposed. It can ultimately be difficult to 100% rule out that she was pregnant. So it's not necessarily saying that she was, but how do we know for sure? It's unknown. Although I will say, if prosecutors believe for sure that Celeste was pregnant or had evidence to establish that she was pregnant, they would have mentioned that, right? That would have gone to motive. That would have gone to the special circumstances allegations. Taking their narrative that David killed her to keep her quiet about the relationship being exposed, what's better proof of this alleged sexual relationship with a minor if they can show she was pregnant with his baby, right? They would have presented that. They did. So I don't know how much that's going to be a factor or not, but at the very least, digital evidence allegedly establishing the relationship and the narrative. Oh, by the way, this came out yesterday. I think this might be evidence because of what I just mentioned before. It wasn't made specifically about the prosecution's filings, but I do wonder if this is going to be part of the case because according to reporting from the New York Post, April 24th, so the day after he allegedly murdered Celeste, he does an interview on the Zach Sang show, and he was reportedly very casual, smiling, making jokes, but allegedly said this, quote, like in the process of, getting outside my house and exploring the world and finding friends, losing friends, finding relationships, losing relationships. It's just everything has kind of been shaping and leading up to this project in such a dominant, by the way, too, when she was just Riverside County Sheriff's Department by her family who lived in Lake Elsinore in February and April 2024. RCSD telephonically contacted the defendant on February 17, 2024, after they identified a phone number in the victim's phone records that belonged to him. During the call, the defendant claimed he had spoken to the victim last on February 13th or 14th, 2024, but stated he was unaware she was a minor or that she had been reported missing. RCSD advised him that Los Angeles Sheriff's Department deputies would be coming to his home. On that day, defendant was living at 804 North Doheny Place in West Hollywood. RCSD requested that LASD conduct a welfare check at defendant's home. LASD deputies went to defendant's home that night at 8:15 p.m. and informed him the victim was a 13-year-old runaway. Defendant again claimed he was unaware she was a minor and he had only met the victim once in person in November of 2023. However, defendant showed deputies a yearbook photo of the victim he had on his cell phone. Although he claimed to be unaware of where the victim was at the time, she returned home 2 days later. Despite being informed by law enforcement the victim was only 13, defendant continued to pursue her. After the victim returned home in February 2024, her parents took her cell phone away. Defendant drove to Lake Elsinore and paid a junior high school student in the victim's class $1,000 to give the victim a cell phone defendant purchased so they could stay in contact. Throughout 2024, the victim spent a significant amount of time with defendant, including summer weekends at his home in the Hollywood Hills and traveling with him to Las Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family. And I mentioned timing. So when Celeste reportedly died, so two parts to this. Evidence of this alleged relationship, which again goes into the sex crime charge, which goes into the special circumstances allegations, but timing. When Celeste reportedly died, yes, David was at the height of his career. Per prosecutors, April 23rd, 2025 is the likely date of the victim's death and when all her cellular activity ceased. The night prior, April 22nd, 2025, defendant and the victim engaged in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text messages. The messages revealed the victim's jealousy over defendant's relationships with other women as defendant led her to believe they had a future together. She became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with the defendant to end his career and destroy his life. These exact messages, but taking the prosecution's narrative, defendant's first studio album was due to be released on April 25, 2025. He had an emerging multi-million-dollar career already in progress. He also had multiple product endorsements, which were highly profitable. So yes, when Celeste died, there was the tour, sponsorship.
Okay, well, I think we got to just some things here. Prosecutors laid out their theory. We're going to find out more and more things. There is some. I seen TMZ publish something that kind of shots fired outside Seabreezy's home. Oh nah. Hopefully Seabreezy's good. They claim that around the same time, TMZ has put out a video. So this video shows David apologizing about a horrible smell in his home 2 months after he allegedly murdered and dismembered her in the same house. Now he claims he was telling them like, "Oh nah, it smells a little weird because I took a shit," and people are saying, "Nah, that was kind of proof that this guy was on some shit." By the way, the guy who is being explained to actually went to court eventually. His name is Neo. So some of these guys, they probably did testify like, "Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I thought someone was up to this."
You put it. You bro, look here. I don't get paid, guys. I don't get paid for this bullshit, bro. This is talking on that ass. Oh.
Thank you guys for becoming a member. Okay, I don't know if you guys just heard that. Listen. Said, "I apologize for the way my bathroom smelled. I took a shit in there."
That's what I'm talking about.
Now, this video is probably going to make prosecutors think that, okay, not only did he kill her, but what part of the house did he kill her in? Maybe he killed her in the bathroom. I mean, he was using a pool or like an inflatable kiddie pool, which would mean that, there would probably be some type of liquid or fluid around. It would make sense for him to use it in an area that is used to water or wet things, which would be the bathroom. So perhaps the place where he killed her is the bathroom, and maybe, shit, it has that lingering smell. Now, we don't know how long, remember, definitely for 2 weeks, the body was still in the house. They're saying this was like 2 months after. We got to go back in the timeline to see when exactly he moved the body. Okay? When exactly he moved the body according to timeline. And I think that timeline is where they claim he was last driving the car. I don't know if you guys remember what time that was. Let's go back.
I like playing because I like playing women. Jesus Christ. It's not a dating show, dude. It's a price fix.
I'm sorry. What is your strategy when it comes to making your picks?
Pick and pray. That's my strategy. I follow people that I know are better at making picks in sports than me.
Would you say that when you have a lineup in, now you're watching more games?
110%. Like, you can pick players and their specs. That's the beautiful thing about prize picks.
How many people in your circle play prize picks?
All my friends, actually, funny enough, they all download the prize picks app.
Who has better picks between the two of you?
It depends on the sport. I would like to say soccer, I have better picks. Basketball, football, I give it to my man Brad right here.
Yeah.
That's really where he knows when a man gonna grab each other down. Where are you going with that? I like fighting, especially when they get sweaty. Brad knows exactly what's gonna happen that night.
Imagine watching the game with your friends, having lineups in, and feeling this exact excitement. That's what you get with Prize Picks. If you're watching this, Prize Picks is available in your state. Go download it today.
Download the app right now. Download it.
David. He was driving the Tesla. Yeah, right here.
The video of David's Tesla being drove for the last time before Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found has just been released. Now we know that prosecutors are alleging that David is the last one that drove and parked that Tesla before he left on tour on July 29th of 2025. Prosecutors are alleging that they have video footage evidence of this and also other evidence to prove that David was the last person to park this Tesla. And this one wasn't released by the cops, it was released by the private investigator Steve Fisher, who has claimed he had this video for months from a Ring camera. But we all know that Steve Fisher has been talking about this video.
Oh, okay. So the Tesla was moved on July 29th. So if we're assuming that maybe the body wasn't being kept in the Tesla, and if we're saying this was the last time the Tesla was used, but it was moved in the body to the final location where it was eventually towed and found out. They killed her April 24th, April, May, June, July. That's like, it's 3 months. So April into May, that's 1 month. May into June, that's 2 months. And June into July, that's 3 months. Which would probably mean that, yeah, if 2 months after anyone complained about a smell, maybe at the home, maybe that could be connected to the body. Wow.
For months, and he has always said that David was not the last person that drove this Tesla, and also alluded to the fact that it was David's best friend Neo, and was constantly calling him out. And it seems like after prosecutors said that they believe David was the last person to drive the Tesla, that this private investigator had different thoughts. And he released this video. He also said, now that the prosecution has released a briefing for the preliminary hearing in the David case, we are releasing the surveillance footage of the Tesla being moved on July 29th. The driver is light-skinned with long hair, wearing a red jersey. Even though he didn't name Neo by name, we all know that he is talking about Neo because the last photo of David and Neo that was taken the night before the Tesla was parked for the last time Neo had on his red jersey. So this makes this all very confusing, but I am going to be 100%. In that uploaded video by Steve Fisher of the last person driving the Tesla, I cannot make out anybody driving the Tesla. So it is still very possible that cops probably have video footage from a different angle, and they also say that they have some type of other evidence. It's still very possible that police do have other video footage that maybe this PI doesn't have, because neighbors have reported that David's car kept moving around for a while. This random YouTuber caught David's Tesla in the same exact spot it would later be towed from, and Celeste would be found on May 14th of 2025. On top of this, Steve Fisher also uploaded photos of Amazon packages that were right on David's doorstep outside of his house that have the same fake name of Victoria Mendez that prosecutors are alleging he used to order the burn cage, the inflatable pool, the chainsaws, the body bag, the trash bags, and everything. This is another interesting thing. In this brief made by prosecutors that was released last night, it said that David lied to friends and business associates and others who noticed the strong smell of decay in or around his home and vehicle before leaving on his concert tour at the end of July. He went on to say that he parked his Tesla on the street around the corner from his home. So in my opinion, it seems like it's very likely for some of the people that testified to that grand jury about David probably talked about this. At the beginning of July, just weeks before they were claiming he took this Tesla for the last time and parked it, there was actually a stream where David randomly brings up a bad smell in his bathroom to another creator. I thought this was really odd because we heard the same thing being alleged by the private investigator Steve Fisher. He was claiming that there was people smelling a very bad smell when they were in his bedroom and his bathroom. This literally came out.
You know what's so funny? This guy's eyes, you could tell he knew something's up. Look at this guy's eyes right here. Look how he looks at him. Look at his eyes. It's kind of like he's like, nigga, that ain't shit. Like, I'm not smelling shit. Something's off.
This literally came out of nowhere in this stream because he was around them for a while, and then he literally says, I apologize if you smell this bad smell coming from my bathroom. I just took a poop, like making a joke out of it. After hearing what prosecutors are alleging, it is really weird to watch this all back, and especially seeing the way Neo is making faces. Keep watching to see if anything else comes out about this David case. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. Okay, what are we doing? What's up next? Happy Saturday, y'all. Should we check in on the Fulio situation? Is there even an update for the Fulio situation?
My friend's car needed repairs and he asked if I could spot him. I said, you know Tilt exists, right? When I need cash and I don't want to be that friend, I use Tilt. With the cash advance, you can get up to $1,200 instantly. No late fees, no interest, and they don't do any credit checks. Tilt looks at your real-time money habits instead of just your credit score, so you can enjoy the moment without the awkward money ask. Plus, payments are automatically scheduled for your next payday, making it completely stress-free. And if you're like me and read reviews before trying anything, Tilt has over 450,000 5-star reviews. People love it for a reason. Like those surprises, and when it does, Tilt comes through. So sign up for Tilt today to get your first cash advance.
Warning. This video contains themes of violence, murder, and gang activity. Every effort has been made to censor and remove any clips that are against YouTube's community guidelines. If you're over 18 and want to see an uncut version of this video with everything that I can't show on YouTube, The director's cut is available exclusively to my supporters on patreon.com/traplawross. This video is in no way meant to glorify or glamorize the individuals, organizations, or activities discussed in this video. The goal of this video is to document the real-life tragedy behind one of the most popular artists in rap history. No disrespect is intended, and rest in peace to everyone in this video who lost their lives. On November the 11th, 2020, Melvin Noble, better known as the rapper Mo3, was driving along the I-35 expressway in his native Dallas when a car boxes him in and a masked gunman jumps out. Mo3 attempts to run for his life down the busy freeway, but he can't escape the gun-toting assassin who shoots Mo3 multiple times, leaving him to die in the middle of the busy freeway with traumatized commuters witnessing the execution and the aftermath for hours to come. This was a brazen, broad daylight hit, and despite wearing masks, the alleged shooters' identities and affiliations would eventually be revealed to the world. But anyone who'd been following Mo3's career closely would know that he had been embroiled in years of beef in his city of Dallas, going back and forth with his enemies in fights, shootouts, and on social media, as well as in the lyrics of his songs, with fans and followers analysing every move he made along the way. Mo3's death was sadly just the final chapter in a years-long back and forth between the city's two warring factions. And sadly, even after Mo3's shocking murder, the war in Dallas would continue to rage on. So today, let's take a closer look at Mo3, one of the most promising artists to ever emerge out of the city of Dallas, and the deadly feud which would sadly bring an untimely end to the rise of this potential superstar.
Blood, you ain't never had no fight, blood. You ain't never did nothing, blood. Scary. Scary. Wherever you from, you will get hated the most. You know, most rappers die in their own city. It's a fact. Shot me in my hand, grazed my back.
Man, I got shot in the leg and they took me to the emergency.
It's like he wasn't supposed to die yet. A comedian. He ain't no gangster. When I got in the cast, I said, damn, this how I feel to be dead.
A Dallas rapper is dead today after he was shot on I-35. 28-year-old Mo3.
Today's story takes place in Dallas, Texas. Combine that with the nearby Fort Worth and the areas surrounding it, and that makes up the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, or the DFW. With a population of around 7.5 million in total, this makes it the fourth largest metropolitan area in the United States. Now, the state's gun laws allow a holstered carry, which means that no license or permit is required to carry a firearm. So, as long as you're over the age of 21 and got no felonies, you can legally pack heat in Dallas and protect yourself from the city's many dangers. But make no mistake, as you're going to see in this story, people take those privileges seriously. Now, the murder rate in Texas per 1,000 people is exactly the same as the overall United States. But if we take a closer look at the city of Dallas, the average rate of violent crimes jumped significantly, with the number of murders per 1,000 people more than double the US average, and the city's crime index being a 5. And that's not a 5 out of 10, that's a percentage out of 100. And one potential reason for this above-average crime rate could be the fact that the city of Dallas is considered a major United States drug market, being identified by the Justice Department as a leading distribution and transshipment hub for narcotics traveling in from Mexico and going to other parts of the United States, with the DEA and local cops constantly busting drug gangs in the city. Now, gangs and gangsters seem to operate all over Dallas, and that seems to be the case all over Dallas and America and even the world at large. Eventually, some of those talented members coming up out of gangs would eventually end up making music, with this music finally giving the world an insight into the real goings-on in the city's criminal underworld. And over the past 10 years, when it comes to gangster rap, there are two big names that have emerged from the DFW, coming from opposing sides of town, but equally talented. These names are Mo3 and Yella Beezy. And unfortunately, as you're about to find out, despite hailing from the same city and sharing so much in common, these two individuals would grow to hate each other, with a deadly war spilling onto the streets of Dallas and into the music industry, with local citizens and fans hanging on to their every word. As a deadly war broke out, with these two battling rappers fighting to the death for the crown of who would be the hottest rapper in the city. So, to begin, let's head to the north side and tell the origin story of Mo3.
Planning for your family's future? Put it in the right hands with LegalZoom. It's too important to let it fall into the wrong hands. LegalZoom is the simple, affordable online solution for estate planning. If you need a will or trust, LegalZoom guides you through every step to ensure your loved ones and assets are protected. So if you need a legal hand, visit LegalZoom. LegalZoom provides access to independent attorneys and self-service tools. LegalZoom is not a law firm and does not provide legal advice.
Mo3 was born on the 31st of May 1992 in McKinney, Texas, before moving to North Dallas, where he was brought up. Make no mistake, life growing up in North Dallas wasn't easy for Mo3 and his family. After the departure of his father from the family home, his mother would raise the children alone, with Mo3 coming up on a diet of noodles, or often no food at all. At times, Mo3 and his family would even find themselves homeless with nowhere to sleep, resorting to charging their phones at the corner store. But Mo3's mother was a generous woman in the community, and apparently she would frequently invite kids in the neighborhood who couldn't go back to their family home to stay with them, with Mo3 and his brother having to fight over food and a spot to sleep in his own family home.
I got partners in my mama raised in the same house, like kids in the neighborhood that ran away from home, they end up at Mo3 house. Even though this my house, like some of my partners will beat me to my house before I get there. They done already ate. They done already got their spot at the bed and everything. I got to sleep on the floor. I got to sleep on the couch. You know what I'm saying? So,
despite the generosity in this household, in school, Mo3 couldn't afford books and suffered bad grades and bullying due to his shabby clothes. But Mo3 was a hustler, and he would get jobs at a young age to help his mother financially, eventually deciding to pursue a path as a rapper after high school. But making something of himself would not be easy, coming up in some of the harshest streets of Dallas. Much like the nickname Chiraq given to the gang-infested hoods of Chicago, where the violence is considered nearly as bad as the military conflicts going on in Iraq. Mo3 claimed that the area of North Dallas where he grew up to be similarly dangerous, earning it the nickname North Afghanistan.
So you grew up in Dallas? Yeah. Okay. North Dallas? Yeah, in Afghanistan.
Growing up in North Afghanistan, it's no wonder that Mo3 became acquainted with the streets at an early age, stealing his first gun from his cousin at the young age of 12 and beginning to stick people up.
I had my first gun when I was 12. Okay. I had a 25 with no clip. And he had a clip to it. I'm telling you, I'm feeling though, like I'm hopping out, no clip.
Just one in the chamber.
Ain't nothing. I stole the gun from my cousin. I'm not thinking about you're supposed to have bullets to the gun. You need the clip for the gun to work. I'm just thinking at the time I'm 12 years old, walking around the neighborhood with a gun.
Fortunately, he wasn't able to get his hands on any ammunition at this point, but eventually he would get caught with that gun by his mother. And from here, Mo3 would go on to face his first aggravated robbery charge at just age 14. And he would continue to be in trouble with the law throughout his teens, claiming to have been through every correctional facility Dallas has ever built.
Did you ever get caught with it?
Yeah, my mama called. When somebody seen me with it, police came, took the goddamn gun, had it in the goddamn Ziploc bag. Like, so I caught my first aggravated robbery 14. I've been on paper since 2006. I went through all the juvenile programs. I've been getting locked up since 13, 14. So like, I went through every correctional facility Dallas ever built.
Throughout Mo3's teenage years, he would continue to have trouble, whether in juvenile detention centers or on the streets. Even telling DJ Black in an interview that he can't even remember how many shootouts he's been in since he was 15.
I mean, if you were to count how many shootouts you did, and I don't care about the actual situation, but if you were to say how many times were you in an area where bullets are flying around you?
Shootouts I 15, so too many. I've been in shootouts since I was 15. To stay up there, it's a lot.
You actually never got hit though.
Nah,
Mo3 would continue to catch cases and affiliate with local gangs, at some point becoming affiliated with the 5'9" Bounty Hunter Bloods, or 282, a blood gang set originally starting in Watts, Los Angeles, eventually making its way to Texas cities like Houston and Dallas, with Mo3 shouting out his gang in songs and interviews and frequently wearing red bandanas.
Salute me, man, 282, ran on a blood gang, man. Yeah, it's about real life. I just real life heroes, man. You know what I'm saying? They just man, real talk. He squad, man, mafioso.
HSM would eventually become the name of his record label, but more on that later. Mo3 would tell Vlad TV that he eventually caught a big adult charge at the age of 17, 4 counts of aggravated robbery.
I caught 4 of them at 17, 4 aggravated robbery to deal with. I went to TDC. First adult charge.
And to make matters worse, Mo3's mother attempted to put her own money up for lawyers' fees, ultimately losing everything in her fight for her son's freedom.
Lost everything, house, car, everything. She was living with my auntie. My mom used to say, I'm losing my job. And I ain't understand it until she was like, every time a school called me or every time somebody called me and say, your son in jail, I got to immediately get up and leave work. It really didn't hit me until I got in the cell.
Mo3 was initially facing a potential 45-year sentence, but in the end he would wind up getting 10, doing only 2 before being released on probation.
You managed to get 45 down to 2.
I did 2 on 10. If you sign for 10-year sentence, Came home on good behavior too.
But it was during this stint in prison that Mo3 would settle on a career path that would eventually make him a star, revealing to Adam 22 in a No Jumper interview that his father had visited him in jail, telling him that he should rap about his experiences in the streets rather than continuing to live the life of crime.
When you get out, instead of doing what you're doing, rap about it. Right, rap about what you mean. Put your life in the music. Rap about it. You ain't gotta do it no more. Just rap about it. It's better to rap about it than do it. Cause you ain't hurt nobody.
Mo3 was a natural rapper and singer, but until this point he had never even considered a career in music as a serious prospect. He would sing in church as a child, but ultimately got too wrapped up in the streets as a teenager to take music seriously.
My mama had me in the church. Like, my daddy been rapping. My mama sang, my daddy rapping, so I sang and rap. So it's like, it's always been natural, like from the go, like way before we got in the studio. I used to want to be the hot boys when I was little, you know what I'm saying, like Cash Money. But I ain't, that's when I was little. You get what I'm saying? But like, when I grew up, by the time I hit 14, I don't know, was out here in the street, so it was like all it was fantasy.
But fortunately, after nearly losing 45 years to the streets, and with his father's wise words in his ear, Mo3 would get out of jail and begin taking a career in the rap game seriously, beginning to record early music and mixtapes that would eventually make him one of the most famous names to come out of the city of Dallas. And it was around 2014 that Mo3 began picking up attention, both from fans and from former enemies in the streets. Mo3's earliest songs in the rap game came out on the 14th of August 2013 on the HSM or Hit Squad Music YouTube channel. This was a track called Hold Your Tongue, a remix of Texas rapper Mr. Lucci's song Half Steppin'. This was an incredible debut, with Mo-K showcasing his versatility straight out the gate, crooning a catchy song chorus and then hitting the listener with a lyrical onslaught in the rapped verses. But of course the subject matter of the song couldn't be ignored either, and Mo3 was clearly taking his father's advice on board, filling the track with references to the gun-toting street life and singing on the chorus for his enemies to hold their tongue, because if they say something Mo3 doesn't like, you might just lose your life. This was a strong start to a career as a gangster rapper, and from here, Mo3 would continue grinding, singing and rapping about his life in the streets, which was a much better option than actually getting caught up in them. Eventually, Mo3 was ready to drop a video for his breakout track, and the video for Hold Your Tongue would be released, this time using the visuals as well as the lyrics to paint a picture of life in the mean streets of Dallas, with Mo3 appearing in an intro where him and the HSM crew kidnap an op and are seen holding them hostage in a house. In addition to these scenes straight up out of a gangster movie, the video would also be filled with stylish shots of Mo3 and his homies riding around the city in donks and lowriders. And of course he had his goons toting a whole bunch of guns in the video too. Mo3's career was off to a good start, and everyone could see the talent and potential. In fact, Mo3 claimed that as soon as he recorded the song, the producer knew they had a hit and was pushing him to record even more.
I said, bro, just do it. He made it. I was there, spit there. I'm like, bro, you cold. You ice. Like, you know what I'm saying? What else can I make for you? There we be him be at the relationship right there. What else can I make for you? So boom, like after that, it started circulating, man.
And so, Mo3 would go on to record song after song, eventually releasing his debut mixtape Shotters on the 3rd of September 2014, inspired by the 2002 Jamaican gangster epic of the same name, which Mo3 says is his favourite movie. Shotters was a 20-track lyrical onslaught from Mo3 where he raps all about the drug dealing and gun-toting life that he has lived on the streets of Dallas. And at this point, he was building up a big reputation in the city as one of the big street rappers on the rise to watch out for. But it would be his next release that would truly put him on the map and on the charts. As his next release, Shotters Reloaded, coming out on the 20th of November 2015 on the HSM YouTube channel, and later getting an official commercial release on the 5th of April 2016, would include Mo3's next breakout song, All the Way Down, which got its own music video on June the 30th, 2015. Yet another great example of Mo3's versatility on the mic. He would sing on the chorus about the struggles that he had to go through to keep the lights on and feed his family, then launch into a verse where he swings effortlessly from singing notes about shooters having Rugers to rapping about the haters in his city beginning to target him. Mo3 was beginning to get recognition in his city and from the country as a whole. Shotters Reloaded went on to peak at number 23 on the Billboard R&B and Hip Hop Albums charts, staying on that chart for 26 weeks. And Mo3 would admit himself that this was the project that put him on the map, with most of his fans seeing this as his first real project in the rap game.
Shotters Reloaded is what broke everything, like, so people take, like, Shotters Reloaded, they look at it like, that's the first one, you know what I mean? That's the second one, you know what I mean? So
by this point, Mo3 was making big money off the rap game, taking to social media to show off his cars, guns, and money.
Big form, yeah. panoramic roof. Panoramic roof. I got 7 cars. Yeah, man. Quit playing, man. This is how we really live, man. Big money, big everybody. Yeah. Big dime, big rolling, big jewel. Y'all on my house, see me, man. Y'all on my house, I see me, man. Quit playing, man. Real good, man. My people are really good.
Clearly, Mo3 was grinding and making a name for himself on the Dallas rap scene. And while the charts and the fans were beginning to take notice, so too were the streets. As Mo3 would later tell DJ Vlad that his enemies from the streets started hating on him when he started making it in rap, suggesting that they thought it would be easy to bring their street feuds into the rap game.
That I used to get into when I was right here in Fizzler. Even when that beat was dead, once I got here, they just restarted it all over again. You know what I'm saying? This was a perfect time for them to be on. It was a perfect time for them to be heard, and and it was like easy. It was right up their alley. Like, you can already beat them up with the first one, even just that might be, it ain't gonna be hard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Whilst Mo3's impressive versatility on the mic made him one of the most buzzing artists in the Dallas rap scene, he wasn't the only one. Sadly, it's often the case in rap that when two big artists come out of the same city, rather than getting along and lifting their city up musically together, often there emerges a bitter rivalry and battle over the top spot in that respective city. And when it comes to Dallas, the other big name that rings bells in the city is Yella Beezy. Born and raised in Oak Cliff, Dallas, an area with a dark history of murder, with it actually being the area where JFK's assassin Lee Harvey Oswald lived and planned the murder, Beezy would come up in these troubled streets, later telling Adam 22 in a No Jumper interview that he was a troubled kid who couldn't do anything right until he found his calling in rap music.
So you were getting in trouble a lot while you were young, or?
Yeah, I did.
Anything in particular?
Everything. I was getting kicked out of school like 7th, 8th grade. That's why I feel like the music part was my calling, because like I couldn't do nothing else. Right, but music at the time, you know what I'm saying?
Yella Beezy had it hard coming up too. When he was just age 12, his father was murdered outside their family home on Mother's Day, with him revisiting the scene of that killing in a harrowing 2019 documentary for XXL.
Right here, this the house when my daddy got killed at. I was 12. I was turning 13 that October. And she was like, something happened to your daddy. Just crept up behind and hit him up. And like, he was like laying, they say he was laying like on his back with his legs up type. I'll be replaying that night in my head like all the time. It was like my first time ever just getting out at this month since then.
As a teenager, after the killing of his father, Beezy got involved in the streets and became affiliated with local Rollin' 60s Crip gangs, another gang originating in Los Angeles and eventually spreading to the streets of Dallas. As he got older, Beezy would end up working in the drug trade to provide for his family after the loss of his father. But since finding his calling in the rap game, he would find an alternative route to the money that his family needed to survive. And at just 13, Beezy would begin rapping after being inspired by Baton Rouge rappers Boosie Badass and Kevin Gates. Yella Beezy would release his first mixtape at just age 14, titled Mash Mode Overload. And in 2012, he would drop his second mixtape, Lil Yella Mane. From here, he would continue grinding and dropping freestyles like this 2014 freestyle on Say Cheese. But he would land his first hit in the rap game in 2015 with the track Trappin' Designer. Beezy claimed in a XXL interview that Dallas is a fashion city, and the concept of a song all about designer clothes appealed to the many fashionable hustlers in the city of Dallas. Trappin' Designer would end up on his 2017 mixtape, Broke Nights, Rich Days. But it didn't come along with a music video, and despite catching a little buzz on Dallas radio and in the clubs, it would be Beezy's next single, That's On Me, that would make him a star in Dallas and the whole of America. Recorded in March 2017 but released in October, Yella Beezy later told Adam 22 on No Jumper that he threw out the song with a basic music video and the city threw their support behind him and the song.
So when That's On Me came out, did you like release it as a single? You knew that was a special song?
I actually just threw it out there because I thought it was another song on my tape that was going to do it because it had like more club energy.
Right, because I was reading about how it kind of popped off on the radio before it popped off on streaming services.
Yeah.
How did that work out? It was very rare now.
It was like everybody was trying to team up or just trying to help each other to get somebody to the next level, you know what I'm saying?
Dallas radio stations would put Yella Beezy's song in rotation, pushing him as the next hometown hero, and this would work. The video for That's On Me today sits over 20 million views, and the song eventually spent 20 weeks on the Billboard charts, peaking at number 56, helped in no small part by the all-star remix of the track, which came out and racked up a staggering 272 million YouTube views, with the remix of the track coming along with verses from the likes of 2 Chainz, T.I., Rich the Kid, Jeezy, Boosie, and another another emerging local talent relevant to this story, Trap Boy Freddy. Trap Boy Freddy has become a Dallas rap icon in his own right, growing up with an affiliation to a Dallas gang by the name of DF Dub.
Speak on DF Dub, man. How did that form? How old was you?
I was like 14 then. DF Dub down for whatever it came down with. You know what I mean? They were everything up for it.
Freddy was truly a trap boy from a young age, apparently opening up his first trap house at just 14 years old and making $500,000 from the streets before even becoming a serious rapper.
The name Trap Boy. I started calling myself Trap Boy when I was 14, got the first spot.
Well, how much money do you think you accumulated over the years by hustling?
I would have saved all of down around about $500,000 by now.
And Freddy is a close friend of Yella Beezy. In fact, still his biggest song to date is his appearance on the remix of Yella Beezy's monster hit That's On Me. But don't be fooled, Trap Boy Freddy has carved his own place in the Dallas rap history books too. First coming to prominence off the back of a series of mixtapes, kicked off in 2016 with the release of Fourth Quarter on the 4th of July. A project coming with an impeccable cover art where Freddy's face is superimposed on a giant pile of cocaine being poured from a brick onto a scale. I can't lie, that's probably one of the best cover arts I have ever seen for a drug dealer rapper. Now that project featured appearances from both Yella Beezy and Boosie Badass on the track Mind Your Business, a drug dealing anthem where Trap Boy Freddy and Boosie would tag team the mic with aggressive bars about slinging dope in their hoods and telling nosy folks to mind their business. Clearly music or trapping was working out for Freddy because he would be seen interviewed on Say Cheese 2 days after that tape's release, flexing what he says was $80,000 in jewelry. Freddy's first mixtape was followed by Overtime in July 2017, with that followed by Trap Boy Freddy Krueger 3 in February 2018, and this project would feature one of Freddy's biggest songs, the Posse Cut 6 Pick, featuring 6 local artists, Trap Boy Freddy, Yella Beezy, Lil CJ Casino, Lil Ronnie, Sleazy Beezy, and another name important to this story, Go Yayo. Hailing from Fort Worth, Texas, Go Yayo was first introduced to the world as a rapper in January 2014, uploading the music video for his track Don't Trip to YouTube. A strong debut, using auto-tune to make melodic raps about his life, packing pistols, trapping and making money. He'd go on to make mixtapes like No Mo Free Yayo, the hard-hitting street track Boom in November 2015, the stick-toting anthem Damn It Man, and his tape Super Saiyan Yayo in 2016. This featured the track Me with Mo3, and in fact Go Yayo was originally friends with Mo3, working alongside him numerous times. Go Yayo and Mo3 would be seen on Facebook together as early as December 2015, with Go Yayo even being invited to perform with Mo3 and Young Dolph at a December 2015 show at Onyx. Now, some people suggested that there was some tension brewing between these two crews on stage, with some fans pointing out that it looked suspiciously like Go Yayo and his team were trying to nudge Mo3 off the stage, with Mo3 eventually leaving the stage with his manager. Someone suggests that this moment was the true beginning of tension between these two crews, with Mo3 feeling disrespected about how he was treated on the stage. But regardless, Go Yayo clearly wanted the limelight for himself, and through into 2016, he would continue dropping videos for more tracks like I Don't Know, but even by April 2016, Go Yayo was still getting booked to perform at shows alongside Mo3 and Boosie. He would continue to carve a name out for himself in the city, dropping aggressive bangers like the track Boom God. However, Go Yayo would soon become a celebrity in Dallas for reasons beyond his rank, because in May 2016, he would randomly pop up, apparently without permission, speaking at a middle school.
See, I dropped out of school. I was able to keep that dropped out of school. I feel like the worst thing I ever did, because once I was 14, I go to school no more. Once I'm looking at everybody, I'm bored to have. Like, where everybody is? I'm like, with all the kids, like, damn, I'm about home. It's like, you know where was that?
School. And it's funny because almost by accident, in this impromptu middle school speech, we kind of get an insight into Go Yayo's early life, dropping out of school and hanging out with the older kids in the streets. He really is trying to give these kids a lesson and tell them how not to make certain mistakes that he did. He goes on to tell the kids that they need an education to get money, and that choosing the streets was the worst thing that he did, and all he wants to do is make his mother proud.
I'm talking about, you can't get no money not going to school. You gotta go out to school, get a job. You gotta do all that, go to college. Live life, have fun. I told the street, it was the worst thing I did. I got shot when I was 14. My cousin got smoked. And it's just, I made a bunch of bad decisions. When I chose to rap, it saved my life. Now I got money, cars, and do what I want to. But I really wish I went to school. Because my mama can't, your mama not gonna be tired of you in the streets going to jail, going to die, or something like that. Your mama can't be proud of that.
Yayo would even go as far as to disavow guns and violence in his music, explaining it as just an image.
Other than that, like, the streets not where it's at. I know y'all heard a lot of my songs, y'all see guns, and people be saying a lot of gang stuff and all that. But that's just an image we gotta put on because I'm around for. So we gotta, you gotta flex a little bit. But I want y'all to know I'm just humble. Really, I'm 19. I'm supposed to be out of high school 2 years ago. We'll see where I'm at right now. And then you little boys, y'all stay in school, play sports or something. You ain't gotta be no thug, you ain't gotta be no gangster, be cool.
Now, I personally think there was a pretty good message in there, but some of the locals didn't agree, which, to be fair, might have had something to do with the fact that at the end of the speech, he got all of the kids to chant Hood Fame Gang.
On the count of 3 on 3, you're gonna say Hood Fame, gang. 1, 2, 3. Now, on 3, we're gonna say stay in school on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Soon after this, naturally, Go Yayo found himself in hot water on the local news.
By the sounds of it, you'd think this was the start of a concert. Well, what you're seeing in these YouTube videos was actually a pep rally for the STAR test at Morningside Middle School in Fort Worth. And this was the man hyping up the kids, a local rapper named Go Yayo.
You know, people, almost as if he time-travelled there through some sort of enchanted backwoods. None other than Charleston White popped up on the news to complain about Go Yayo corrupting the local youth.
Still in awe, I'm still in shock.
Charleston White and Jesse Taylor, who run a local mentoring nonprofit, are amongst those calling foul on Fort Worth ISD.
I got shot when I was 15, my cousin was burned in the island in rap stuff.
Wondering why the school would bring this person to speak to middle schoolers.
Very distasteful. Very extremely distasteful. And someone should be held accountable.
I mean, I was researching this video. I was not expecting Charleston White to pop up, so that had to go in there. But we will be seeing a lot more from him as this story goes on. Anywho, Go Yayo clearly didn't have it easy growing up. He came up in a Crip-affiliated neighborhood, with death being a common sight even as a child.
Yeah, I'm from Southside. Like, I seen, like, my cousin got smoked in my face.
Your cousin got killed right in front of you.
Right next to me.
With him later telling DJ Vlad in an interview that he was actually facing 20 years for attempted murder at the young age of 18, ultimately being lucky enough to finesse it down to a lesser charge. With this 100 IQ legal move apparently being the result of a relationship that he was having with a much older woman who was a top dog lawyer.
They gave you a plea deal 20 years.
20 years. I was going with this grown one. I was 18. I was going with one that was 31. She wouldn't have got me. He tried to conquer it for a word type. My lawyer got it dropped down from attempted murder, deadly conduct.
Okay, so you gotta accept that.
Signed for a year. Got it.
Ultimately, Dallas was a dangerous city with an underworld of gang conflict that many young men had been sucked into at a young age. But fortunately, as Go Yayo said in his middle school speech, rap has given these young men a way out, rapping to make money and make their mothers proud, getting them out of the dangerous situations that they were forced to be around growing up. But sadly, as this story plays out, we'll see the sad consequences of the city's biggest rappers coming out of gangs. Because even with fame and fortune, the squabbles between these Texas titans of raps would continue on, with each artist getting bigger in the rap game and getting more wealthy, but ultimately having much more to lose. There's a few more important people to discuss before we talk about the beef between Mo3 and Yella Beezy, because there's several other neutral parties that will play a big role in this story. Sean Cotton from Say Cheese, for example, a prolific interviewer who would essentially become the DJ Vlad or Zach TV of Dallas, interviewing both sides of the beefing local rap scene and inadvertently getting right in the middle of the feud, eventually even picking up the attention of the local media for giving a voice to the gang members coming out of his city.
A Fort Worth man is making a living going into neighborhoods most find unsafe to tell stories about gang life. Sean Cotton runs the YouTube channel Say Cheese TV and regularly visits high-crime neighborhoods looking for stories about street gangs and gang-affiliated rappers. 28-year-old quit his $7 per hour job cleaning refrigerators 6 years ago to document gang life, and now he makes up to $15,000 a month with his YouTube channel. He also has deals with advertisers and rap labels through his work on Instagram. But danger is part of the job. Cotton wears a bulletproof vest and got a license to carry after a well-known Chicago blogger, Zach Stoner, was killed doing the same work just last year.
My weird, for safety reasons, after my homie Zach TV, got killed, I kind of took in consideration to be more safe when I'm out in, poverty areas doing interviews.
Cotton says that he gives rappers like 30 Rich the chance to change the narrative about his lifestyle, and he provides an unfiltered look at how life and rap music can intersect and the toughest neighborhoods in our country. Critics, though, say these types of videos glorify gang violence, but Cotton says the rewards outweigh the risks.
Sean Cotton would actually say himself in an interview with Boss Talk 101 that he came up with the likes of Mo3, Yella Beezy, and Trap Boy Freddy.
Mo3, Mo3, Yella, and all the stuff that happened with Trap Boy and all that. Every time I would hear about that, I would hear Sean Cotton. Okay. And it was in the middle of that.
No, it was because I came up with all three of them. So
okay.
You gotta understand.
Yeah, and I remember that. You the only one that interviewed them.
Yeah,
that I really.
So I would interview somebody, and then they'd be like, that's not true. Let me get an interview. Let me tell my piece, and that's how it really came about.
Essentially, Sean Cotton, in an attempt to put the spotlight on the rappers coming up in his city, may have accidentally given them an outlet to air out their grievances with each other. Starting out in the early days with a nasty habit of frequently asking Texas rappers to name the top 5 rappers in their area.
Overall, your favorite top 5 down the street artists right now?
Freddy, Lowe's, Lil Beto, K-Rilla, the Caterpillar, I'm up, and somewhere I'm up, Fat Bill. Shout out to them.
They'll be blowing up your phone after this, but
I ain't worried about it. But I call my phone up.
In the beginning, there wasn't as much tension between the rappers in the city. Mo3, Yella Beezy, and Trap Boy Freddy had been seen in pictures together, seemingly on good terms before things took a turn for the worse. And Mo3 told Sean Cotton that Freddy was someone from the streets that he felt close enough to talk with at this period.
Freddy, like, you know what I'm saying? I chopped over my, off the rap, you know what I'm saying? Off the radio, that rap, you know what I'm saying? Really rap, so that's the only really getting there, yellow, and we don't really, you know what I'm saying, you know, come up with something, charge that type.
It seemed like only when some of the biggest names in Dallas had emerged from the streets, beginning to get fame and fortune and radio play, that the tension began to rise. Mo3 would claim that his fame in the rap game caused a lot of people to bring their old beats from the streets into the record industry. Meanwhile, Go-Yayo had claimed that when he blew up in music, other people in his city got hypnotized with hatred.
No, I'm going to school and we used to be real close. So we're real beef now just because you still stuck in one situation, but I'm in the same city, but I'm living like this, and I'm doing this.
This is actually a line that Southern rap legend Boosie, with close ties to the Dallas rap scene, would famously say to DJ Vlad, suggesting that when rappers get famous, the biggest haters come from their own native city.
Wherever you from, you will get hated the most. Most rappers die in their own city. It's a fact.
Ironically, Boosie himself would even find himself right in the middle of the Dallas rap beef too. Things were good at the start, with Boosie sharing the stage with local rap stars like Mo3 and Go-Yayo. Boosie was really looking at Dallas as a potent talent pool where he might sign artists. Boosie would even appear in an early Mo3 vlog, meeting him at a meet and greet and expressing interest in signing him.
Well, let's take you to a long time. Say you gonna make me some money. Say you selling out shows around here. I gotta check me out, man. I gotta check out girls up flick, man. Yeah. I ain't heard, TQ come to me and they say do open it up for you. You niggas on the side. It ain't nobody. Yeah. That's what I need. I need all this from that. I ain't getting money. He be getting all this money.
I'm going to see that.
Yeah, they say selling out show my brother. Like, he got no love. Don't be checking him out. I'm going to beside him.
This moment clearly meant a lot to Mo3, who had previously called Boosie one of his favourite people to emerge from the rap game.
Growing up, Boosie was your favorite rapper.
He's still my favorite rapper.
Still your favorite rapper.
He's my favorite rapper. He's my favorite street. He's my favorite person. I don't rap.
And after making a personal connection with Boosie Badass, Mo3 would begin to refer to himself as Mo3 Badass, with the name appearing in an alternative cover art to his breakout mixtape Shotters Reloaded. And from there, continuing to release music with Boosie's blessing, like his next project, 4 Indictments, which would feature a collaboration between the two, the track What She Said, an explicit thug love anthem, which I have no doubt had the ladies of Dallas's panties thoroughly moistened. I've heard Boosie Cologne has the same effect. Anywho, while Mo3 is developing his career and forging deep ties with the rap legend Boosie Badass, Yella Beezy is pushing his forward too. Off the back of his street hit Trap in Designer, he was picking up some buzz, playing shows and doing interviews. And of course checking in with Sean Cotton on his channel, Say Cheese, to reveal his top 5 Dallas rappers at the time too, naming himself, Trapboy Freddy, Go Yayo, Lil Ronnie, and Mo3 in his top 5.
There's no reason why you shouldn't. When Mo coming to this city, bro, I bet you I'm one of the names they gonna talk about when they speak on the city.
Yo, Beezy, give me your top 5.
Freddy, Ye, you said DFW, just that Lil Yayo, Mo3, and I can't forget Lil Ronnie.
Clearly at this point he had a lot of respect for his Texas rap peers, but the rap game is competitive, and clearly Yella Beezy saw himself as a first among equals. He was later seen in vlogs outside shows in September 2016, saying that this is his city.
If y'all don't know, it's rapping in the dance. Y'all already know that we're going, you know what I'm saying? I'll flip them up, Yellow Mo, please, man, we in there, man. Y'all see what this is? You might see it, man. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'll flip them up, that's that, man.
Camping is such an adventure. I love how there's a surprise around every corner. Except when I'm surprised with a sudden allergy attack. Luckily, I've got Claritin T to attack back. And I didn't even need a prescription for this.
Get fast, powerful relief from your worst symptoms, like nasal congestion. It's so fast, it starts working in as little as 30 minutes.
Now, I can enjoy sleeping under the stars instead of sneezing under them.
Claritin clears. Use is directed.
Beezy was still a few months away from dropping his monster hit That's On Me, but through to the end of 2016 he would continue pushing his music forward, dropping his light work mixtape on the 7th of October 2016, which included the hit track Going Through Some Things, which sits at 50 million views on YouTube today, with the track including lyrics where Yella Beezy says that people in his city are hating on him because his team are on the rise. The light work mixtape was followed by Broke Nights Rich Days on February the 3rd, 2017, and going into 2017 it seemed that everybody in the Dallas rap scene was beginning to see success. Gangsta Love, Mo3's latest mixtape with a female focus, released on Valentine's Day 2017, even coming along with a feature called Gangsta with Trapboy Freddy. And the month after this release, it was announced that Mo3 Badass had signed a full-blown record deal with Epic Records. Mo3 was on his way to the top of the rap game and becoming a household name in Dallas. But behind the scenes, there had been some tension brewing. On May the 2nd, 2017, Mo3 appears in a Say Cheese interview, claiming to have had a misunderstanding with Yella Beezy, but suggesting that they're cool now after having met up and had a discussion.
Yeah, cool. We had a misunderstanding. Miscommunication. A lot of times, shit was said, he says it, I said it. But once we pulled up, I told him to pull up on me. I was in the cliff one day. I just got back from the boots. I told him when I get back, come out there. He pulled up on me at one time. We chopped it up. We just got a whole bunch of misunderstood.
Mo3 would go on to say that him and his homies play Connect 4 and bet big money on it, suggesting that he had taken Trapboy Freddy for a large amount of gambling.
You don't see me in Connect 4, we bet big money, like now, real talk. $500 bet, $1,000 games, you know what I'm saying? Ask Freddy, man.
Say Cheese would also ask Mo3 about his top 5 rappers in the city, and he just puts himself straight at number 1, no discussion.
Let's see, what would you reckon to say? I ain't taking nothing else from nobody else, I'm just saying it. I'm just saying, but numbers don't lie.
Anyway, Mo3 was saying that he'd kind of squashed this beef with Yella Beezy, but also showing his own competitive streak at the same time. A lot of the beef between these rising Dallas legends would remain behind the scenes around this period, but only a few months after signing his record deal with Epic, on one fateful night, tragedy would strike, changing the course of Mo3's career forever. On the 27th of May 2017, Mo3 attended a concert at Club Phantom in Fort Worth, celebrating his birthday a few days early. But unfortunately, things would take a turn for the worse that evening, with gunfire erupting in the club just before 4 a.m. and a 31-year-old man by the name of Hector Wilkins, aka Lil Harp or Heck, being shot in the upper torso, later dying in hospital. And police would later claim that this was a gang-related killing. Mo3 himself would later be arrested in connection with the shooting in an early morning raid on his home, even later breaking down the surprise raid in an interview with Cam Capone.
I heard a knock at the door. I'm in there, it was just me and my son. I heard a beat. Boom. Boom. Before I even walked to the door, it hit me. I knew. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. They was going to keep the things all like, oh, yeah. So right when I opened the door, It's AR-15, big flag, like, and me and my son, like, get on there, get on there. They took the baby.
They took the baby?
Took him out my hand and threw me on the ground. They looking for guns. Man, so.
Mo3 was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, with bond set at $100,000. And he would even do a phone-in interview from jail to Say Cheese, with the title suggesting that he was facing 30 years if convicted. Mo3 would even claim that the cops were fans of him and they let him drive to jail in his own Tahoe truck, even letting him stop at McDonald's on the way, suggesting that he was greeted in jail like Tupac Shakur. During the call, Mo3 also revealed to Sean Cotton that he had spent tens of thousands of dollars on a lawyer already.
Hey, so I talked to one of your people, and he said that you spent a lot of money on a lawyer, like $50,000, Is that true? Yeah, man, look, man, I dropped 60 on Fort Worth. I dropped 60, man, just on Fort Worth, man. That's just on it, man. Yeah, man. Now I got to spend another 10 to get out. Another 10 to get out, man. Another 10 to get out. Then they gonna drop another 10 like.
With Mo3 later revealing to DJ Vlad that he had spent over $90,000 on lawyer fees and essentially went broke trying to beat this case.
And I guess you spent like $90,000 in lawyer and court fees.
Yeah. I couldn't buy my son no simulating milk. A $13 can of milk.
Ultimately, Mo3 said that the police were following rumors on social media suggesting that he was responsible for the shooting, but the charges were ultimately dropped.
People were saying, Mo3 did this, Mo3 did this, Mo3 did this. You know, when somebody say your name so many times, you know, this who they're gonna come get. It's over.
It's over.
There's no cases. Chris with the name, don't get the blame. You know what I'm saying?
But things weren't all good for Mo3, because apparently, due to the negative attention he got from this incident, Epic Records decided to distance themselves from him.
Oh, because the shooting incident.
Yeah.
And after his split with Epic, the following year in October, Mo3 would release the song True Story, where he seemed to address the incident. The video came along with an eerie introduction where we see a dead Mo3 in the morgue, whilst the mortician tells somebody on the phone that he was killed in his own city.
I don't know, I think it's some rapper. He got shot in his own city.
And over the course of this prophetic video, we would see Mo3 himself rapping next to a coffin and his own grave, which of course represents his own death, as well as rapping lyrics that appear to reference the shooting in Fort Worth, saying that he damn near lost his life that night, and going on to rap about being blamed for the murder, suggesting that the situation was a setup and it was nearly him that got killed, saying others in his position would have done the same thing. He would rap that he'll kill before he becomes a victim, and Mo3 later told Cal Capone in an interview before his death that this was the last shootout he was in, and that he still loves Fort Worth despite this incident.
Shout out to Fort Worth. I still love Punk. I ain't got no problem. I don't have nothing against them, you know what I'm saying? No, night gone bad. And, you know, somebody died.
It's never been fully revealed to the public exactly what happened that night, but some have connected the dots. And considering Go Yayo hails from Fort Worth, and that there had previously been tension brewing between them on stage, putting two and two together, many believe that this altercation had something to do with the tension between Mo3's HSM crew and Go Yayo's Hood Fame crew. Story goes, Mo3 and Go Yayo had been on opposite sides of the club that night, yelling and throwing gang signs in each other's direction. Apparently, at a certain point, Mo3's threats towards Go Yayo were interpreted as a diss towards the entire city of Fort Worth, forcing that nightclub full of Fort Worth natives to turn on Mo3. Allegedly, at this point, he had tried to escape the club, being escorted out by his manager, ultimately with an exchange of gunfire erupting and a man being left dead. After the incident, an Instagram post, apparently from the victim's sister, would confirm that her brother got shot 8 times because of Go Yayo and Mo3 beefing at the club. And Mo3 himself would even release a statement from his Facebook account under the alias Marcus Mack, saying that he prays the victim pulls through, but he's not the one to blame, saying that a lame local rapper set him up and that he had to defend himself against a whole club, but he doesn't know anything about the shooting, and now he has the cops on his case. A while later, Dallas comedian Roy Lee would also weigh in on the drama between these two rapping rivals, saying in a real-life interview that Mo3 is up against the whole of Dallas and Fort Worth.
We have the Mo3 and Go Yayo situation, man. What's your take on that?
Man, that's crazy, man. It's like Mo3 against Dallas and Fort Worth. Ain't nobody on my outside.
Roy Lee went on to suggest that Mo3 was in the club in Fort Worth when the whole club turned on him after somebody stood up and called him out, even joking that he would have shot women and kids to get out of that situation.
You gotta think about where he was at. You know what I'm saying? You way out there. And somebody get on the table and say, he said here, and so the whole club will get you. Alright, when I get back to the club, I'm shooting kids and whoever. Y'all better move y'all out the way.
Roy Lee would go on to say that Mo3 is at the stage in his career that he needs real armed security.
If you got enough money, get the police officer out of this. Yeah. You need someone that's bigger than you, taller than you, to say move, get out the way. Yeah, can really walk a chopper.
Clearly, a lot of tension was brewing in the DFW, and going forward, unfortunately, things would only escalate further, with yet more lives being lost. And unfortunately for Roy Lee, despite being a comedian, his comments would find him caught up too, right in the middle of a Dallas gang war. The Dallas comedian Roy Lee had been a close friend of Mo3's during his come. Mo3 said that he became a fan of Roy Lee's comedy after watching clips of his in the studio, with the two of them eventually meeting and becoming good friends.
I sit on my downtime, I'm watching videos of him, you know what I'm saying? I won't give me a little laugh or whatever, you know what I'm saying? He didn't know until I met him, like he was already a star to me. You get what I'm saying? But he looking at me the same way, like, Mo3, I'm looking at you like, you Roy Lee, you going viral, like, it's all strong, so like now it's just my partner. Come on, pull up on what we got going, you know what I'm saying?
So from here, Roy Lee would be seen frequently at Mo3 shows during his rise to the top of the Dallas rap scene. However, in an interview following Mo3's arrest for that fatal shooting in Fort Worth, Roy Lee would end up dropping some shade on Mo3's rival Yella Beezy, saying in a real-life interview that some of the rappers claiming Oak Cliff can come over and get robbed. This was an apparent reference to an earlier video where Yella Beezy had claimed to be from Oak Cliff, America, and saying that he runs the city.
You come on up so we can rob you. Because you ain't ready for
Apparently this comment was taken as a sign of disrespect by Yella Beezy and others from Oak Cliff, and apparently following this interview's release, a fight would take place between Roy Lee and Yella Beezy at the King of Diamonds nightclub. On August the 16th, 2017, Roy Lee took to social media to call out Yella Beezy in a heated rant, admitting to dissing Yella Beezy in the earlier interview, suggesting that he wanted a fair one-on-one fight with Beezy like he was in prison, and suggesting that Beezy and his whole crew had jumped him.
I did an interview and I was talking about... I ain't lying in the interview. You understand me? This beef ain't got nothing to do with nobody else but Yella Beezy and Roy Lee. This little boxing match ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. All these... What's up with them partners back there, Yella? What's up with them dudes back there, man? What's up with them dudes back there? Them growlers. Yeah, them growlers back there behind you back there. She ain't talking to them, talking to you. Y'all want the one-on-one with you. Ain't talking about them. Tell them behind you to chill, man. Tell them to chill. I ain't got them with 4 people with me. I ain't calling my cousin them. I ain't calling my partner them. I know the fight ain't gonna never be able to be set up. You know what I mean? Because if we was in the penitentiary, the OGs would be like, y'all let's just go back there and fight one-on-one real quick, man. Y'all want to get that off y'all chest. You just set up the fight. I've been trying to call all the big dope dealers in the city, all the ballers in the city, set up the fight. Well, what's wrong with me setting up a fight and I'm the one that got hit? And everybody told me, let it go. I'm going to let it go. If y'all didn't let it go at the front point when you got snuck, I'm going to let it go when you got snuck at the club somewhere. You ain't let it go when you seen me at Walmart you was trying to fight. How am I going to catch you one-on-one when you always deep somewhere? When you always 10 or 8 deep somewhere. And I don't be number by 4 deep because I'm in the Cadillac. Now it's on YouTube now. Everybody want to interview me about it. I ain't going to bash them. I'm just mad because they snapped me and they don't want to fight again. Come on, man. That ain't nothing. I'm just talking about swearing up. Oh, you're a rapper. You don't want to get embarrassed or you don't want to lose. You don't want to get out there and look slouchy.
From here, Roy Lee would go on to do yet more interviews, speaking openly about the altercation and putting dirt on Yella Beezy's name in the comedic fashion that Dallas came to love him for. A few days later, Roy Lee appeared in a Game 101 interview on the topic, elaborating in more detail, saying Yella Beezy tried to sucker punch him in the club and missed, and then his crew from Oak Cliff got involved.
Yeah,
Yeah, he came out the DJ booth and tried to hit me. I seen him out there. He just came in out the corner of my eye. I blocked him. And then me and him instantly busted up a little bit. And then the guard grabbed me and one of them hit me back in my head. And so how many of them jumped you? It was like, I think two of them hit me. But one of them hit me back in my head. And one of them snatched my chain.
Roy Lee would continue to repeat his calls for a one-on-one fight with Yella Beezy and beginning to call him a new nickname, the Pink Panther, and continuing pushing for a fight.
So you waiting on a fight with who? The Pink Man, Pink Panther, whatever y'all want to call him. Just trying to get him around, man, but he running and ducking and dodging. Hold on, man, who you trying to get down? You jumped straight out the gate, man. Yeah. Who you trying to get around with? Yo, Pink, the Yella Belly, Yella Beezy, man. I seen him at King of Diamonds, and he tried to sneak me, and I got jumped a little bit by his partner and him, but he ain't hit me, so that's why I want to fight him one-on-one. But plus it'd be good to show the kids that we ain't got to shoot guns and, do all that. It's the real
Clearly, Roy Lee was upset about the disrespect, and he was hell-bent in interviews to call out Yella Beezy, mock him, and put dirt on his name. Perhaps he really wanted the fight, or perhaps he just felt that these rants made for funny content for his followers. But over the course of these interviews, he would continue to mock Yella Beezy and saying that he's not really from Oak Cliff.
What do you mean that he didn't go to no schools in Oak Cliff? He ain't go to no school. He had to go to school in Oak Cliff to be from Oak Cliff? Yeah, you gotta go to school. Yeah, you gotta go to school in Oak Cliff to help fight somebody. I guess he said, I'm telling him he ain't from Oak Cliff, he ain't go to no school in Oak Cliff. I'm not lying. Because if I was lying, he would have been said something. I went here.
Perhaps Roy Lee didn't realise at the time that he was playing with fire, or perhaps he simply didn't care that he was dissing one of the city's most beloved street rappers with an army of fans and goons ready to put in work for him. But he refused to let it go and continued cracking jokes in interview after interview. In November 2017, Roy Lee did another interview with Real Life, saying that Yella Beezy had turned down his offer of a one-on-one fight and he still wants Get Back.
Hey, but now I called him now to fight for $8,000. He talking about, nah, I don't want to fight. Why my nigga don't come back there? I'm gonna get mine, man.
And he'd go on to say that him and Beezy can't squash their beef any other way than a fight.
And you and Yella Beezy should be squashed. Yeah, no, I need that boxing man. That's what he's scared of. What you talking about? Just see him when you see him. Nah, y'all gonna be deeper than me. I don't go number 4 deep to the club. I don't go number 5 deep to the club. Y'all gonna be 70 cars deep, man.
Lee would continue calling out Beezy for not being from Oak Cliff and saying that at least Mo 3 went to a tough school in the Dallas area.
Hey, go to the DISD school. You understand me? You on camp. That's why I heard it me, because they was with Mo 3 and other rappers said they wasn't from where they from. But Mo 3 went to these schools in North Dallas. You understand me? But he didn't go to Oak Cliff South. Carter.
Eventually, Roy Lee would get heated, going as far as to say that Yella is and that he should stop talking about shooters, even threatening to involve people's mothers and grandmothers.
Nah, you can't get mad at me. I'm the comedian. Now you talking about, nah, I don't want to fight. Now you want to see your shooters. You can get ugly like that. I can screenshot mamas and grannies and hey, you talking about they got us from here. I'm talking about from here. I ain't talking about from here. That's easy. Yeah, I just got out of jail from shit locked up. Finna go do 60.
Roy Lee would end the interview with one final piece of disrespect, saying if Yella Beezy can't fight him in his own city, then he will get robbed when he leaves Texas, and even questioning whether or not he is really a Crip.
So if you go out of town to New York, snatch that. If you go to Atlanta, Chicago, California, take that. Where you want to take it to some shooting? No, ain't no Crips in Foreman. Ain't no Crips in Mesquite.
Roy Lee's mockery of Yella Beezy was relentless. Clearly his comedy skills combined with a bruised ego over the sucker punch had Roy Lee cracking joke after joke at Yella Beezy's expense. But to be fair to Yella Beezy, it's understandable why he wouldn't want to fight the comedian for $8,000 at this point, because during this time in 2017, his career was going from strength to strength. In 2017, Yella Beezy's career was taking off. His latest mixtape, Light Work Volume 2, released on the 21st of November 2017, and that tape included his future hit single, That's On Me. The track had lyrics where Beezy referred to his ops being after him, and he would rap that people are following him on Twitter and in the streets trying to rob him, but saying he keeps his pistol on him, as well as lyrics where he denied ever being shot. The track itself got a music video and a major push from Beezy's team, and from here, the song became a monster hit over the course of the next year. Today, the video for that song has over 130 million views on YouTube, with the track gaining mainstream traction, even peaking at number 56 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, eventually with the song being certified gold. And from here, getting an all-star remix that racked up a staggering 272 million YouTube views, including extra verses from 2 Chainz, T.I., Rich the Kid, Jeezy, Boosie, and Trapboy Freddy, who was also having a productive 2017, with his latest release Overtime dropping the 1st of July 2017. With all this going on in the midst of Mo3 catching a case after the nightclub shooting in Fort Worth, losing him his deal with Epic and going broke. But Mo3 continued pushing things forward, dropping a music video for his track True Story, where he addressed the nightclub shooting, with that coming out in October 2017. This set the stage for his next major project release, Shotters 3.0, coming out on the 15th of March 2018. But while Mo3 was trying to overcome the struggles that came from that deadly incident at his birthday show, Yella Beezy and Trapboy Freddy were pushing their careers forward too, and Roy Lee was continuing to do interviews, making Yella Beezy the butt of the joke. Roy Lee would appear on Real Life once again for a January 2018 interview where he elaborated further on the altercation between him and Beezy's team, this time accompanied by his 2 nephews who were apparently there at the time of the fight, with it being suggested that at the time Roy Lee was being drunk and aggressive.
This my nephew. These 2 my nephews I love. Allegedly, you were being real aggressive in the club. Good characteristic of Roy Lee.
I see him start going at the mouth. All right, who you be with? You with Yella Beezy? That word. He just tripping. He drunk. That's what he do. We drink. So I'm watching him. He said, you be with Yella Beezy? Don't look like he ain't got nothing to do with that. Confused. He don't know what's going on. Ain't got nothing to do with that. What you and Yella Beezy got going ain't got nothing to do with that. And when they still ask him again, no, I'm saying though, do you be with Yella Beezy? I ain't saying do you got nothing to do with that. That's around the time that same dude he asking for was walking around.
So allegedly he got hit with a 1-piece.
Yeah, who?
Mr. Lee. Mr. Roy Lee. Allegedly he got hit with
when the other dude he was looking for came, because at first he was like, yo, what, you be with Yella Beezy?
Who let the escape, like, when it was time to get out of there?
When
Like, how
it
did
was time to get up out of there, Rolly was on the ground, because they was all after him.
Yeah.
It was about like 18 of them. And at least about 9 of them was on Rolly.
So look, despite this explanation being very amusing, he did kind of reveal that he'd been a bit of an aggressor in this beef. And to be honest, looking at it from that perspective, Roy Lee is being truly reckless. As the interview went on, it became clear that this sort of behaviour is apparently a common occurrence when Roy has had too much alcohol.
Do you think this all could have been avoided if Roy Lee just quit drinking so much?
You got a point right there. You got a point right there.
From here, the interview said point blank that Roy Lee's behaviour is dangerous, with Lee revealing that his antics have brought so much danger to those around him that he can't even find security who will protect him.
For a comedian, you live a really dangerous life, bro.
Security guard told me that. Security guard told me that. He said, man, I don't think I can be your bodyguard. You doing too much. I said, no, we need you to come home, man.
I'll be honest, it was this follow-up interview which made me feel a little bit more that Roy Lee was just out here without a care in the world for his own safety or those around him. At one point, his nephew even tells him to squash the beef, and Lee refuses.
It ain't squash until he does. I'ma squash him and I ain't seen nothing. I'ma squash a roach and I ain't seen the roach.
And Lee would even go on to drag Mo3 and his manager Rainwater into the mix.
I feel like you about to spark up like a South Dallas versus Oak Cliff war.
No, it ain't gonna be South Dallas versus Oak Cliff. But we can go there. Ask me that question. Shout out to Rainwater and Mo3 because they said I get my information from Rainwater and Mo3. They ain't got nothing to do with none of it. But his mixtape coming. That's my boy. He comes to my birthday party to perform. That's my
Roy Lee was really out here roasting Yella Beezy like he was on Comedy Central, but the problem is the balance of power in the city of Dallas was shifting. Whilst Mo3 was still trying to clean up his reputation from that nightclub shooting, the other rappers in the city were coming up quick time. And according to Yella Beezy in an interview at the start of February, Mo3 had called him to squash the beef, suggesting that their tension had stemmed from a woman spreading misinformation between them.
It was just like you said, just like a miscommunication. He called me one day and was like, hey, well, yeah, just 3 of them. When I holler at you about something in your hood. Well, yeah, you told me where I come put up on. Was telling him, yeah, my old cliff from her. Say you can't come to the cliff no more. They gonna kill you, they gonna do something lame. And she wasn't even talking about me. I wasn't talking about him, I was talking about the other Yella Beezy. It's only one Yella Beezy there, like, what other Yella Beezy you wanna say?
So it's still from the female?
Nah, it was like a lot of that happened, but that was a situation that was in it, you know what I'm saying? I had my thinking that, you feel me?
Now, whether or not you believe the beef was truly squashed, soon there would be more tension between the top rappers in Dallas, as Trapboy Freddy would release his biggest mixtape to date, Freddy Krueger 3, on the 26th of February 2018, a project which had the Monster Posse cut, featuring Yella Beezy and Go Yayo, 6-pick. Mo3 not being on the track would later be seen as a source of tension between the two, with Sean Cotton asking Mo3 why he wasn't on the song, and Mo suggesting that he didn't even want to be on the track.
They came out with the Pick 6 record, you know, I didn't want to be a part of that. But let me... Yeah, I'm not mad about no Pick 6. Yeah, but I'm just saying, this is something that everybody...
Freddie would go on to reveal the following month that at this point him and Mo3 hadn't spoken in months since the drama with Go Yayo, but also suggesting he didn't have a problem with Mo3, going on to suggest that he was just mad at him for talking to Go Yayo and putting him on the song 6-pick after the incident at the nightclub.
See, now, me and him, we were cool money, you see what I'm saying? That's my dog. We still be cool right now. But me and that ain't talking since the Yayo. He was mad at me for still talking to Yayo, so that's what it was.
With Freddie saying that he unfollowed Mo3 after finding out he was upset about the Go Yayo feature.
Unfollow my nigga, I don't play on, we ain't gotta play like we partners and all that. Like, if it's smoke, say it's smoke. And it proved to me in that interview.
Soon after this, a confrontation would take place between Mo3 and Freddie, but the details wouldn't become public until nearly a year later. Meanwhile, with his hit song That's On Me beginning to put Yella Beezy on the map nationwide, he would continue to leverage his newfound buzz into big opportunities, like his banger of a track Up One, which landed a Lil Baby verse for the remix, and a music video which dropped on March the 14th, 2018. Up One with Lil Baby went on to get an insane 93 million views on YouTube, and Trapboy Freddy would keep his momentum running throughout the year with his latest mixtape No Feelings dropping on July the 4th. Summer 2018 was a buzzing summer for Dallas rap, and Yella Beezy for the time being was the artist to watch. But with all the tension that had been brewed between Beezy and Roy Lee, it was only a matter of time before another escalation would take place. And unfortunately, that's when things would turn tragic, as Roy Lee would reveal to fans on Instagram that he had been shot. According to a later article, at 7:50 p.m. on September the 25th, Roy Lee was sitting in the parking lot of the Preston Valley Shopping Centre when a shooting took place, leaving Roy Lee shot in the leg and being rushed to hospital. Roy Lee had been seen in social media videos following the shooting, saying that he'd been shot in the leg and that he'd called the police and ambulance.
Yeah, man, I'm doing all right, though. Yeah, I had to call the Lottos, man. I got shot in the leg.
Had seemingly recovered well from the incident, and for weeks following the shooting, he would continue to perform live stand-up comedy. But at some point, he would take a turn for the worse. Other clips would circulate on social media showing Roy Lee laid up getting treatment in the hospital after the shooting, and he would continue to discuss the shooting on social media, saying that the shooters must have seen him at the Texaco gas station.
Yeah, I know your legs broke, so I know that's what I was saying.
No, I got shot, Brandon.
Because Texaco, shit is across the street across from each other. I was just sitting in the corner.
And despite briefly recovering from his injuries and continuing to perform comedy, Roy Lee would sadly pass away due to blood clots in his lungs at 1:15 p.m. on October the 13th, 2018, as he awaited another surgery. Roy Lee was beloved in the rap community, even beyond Dallas, with the likes of even Young Thug mourning the loss of Lee on Twitter. Naturally, those close to him in the Dallas rap scene, like Mo3, would be devastated by the loss, with Mo3 later opening up about his friendship with Roy Lee to Adam 22 in a No Jumper interview, showing off the commemorative chain that he got made in Roy Lee's memory and saying that it wasn't right for him to go out like that.
What was it like when you passed?
It hurt me.
Yeah.
I never put him on the shirt. I put
that too much?
I put him right here. Sure. It's like he wasn't supposed to die yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? A comedian. Ain't no gangster. Him getting shot and all this, it's like, that wasn't for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't even for your whole. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Shoot a comedian who tells jokes on Facebook, bro.
Local police would appeal for information related to the killing of Lee, but it seemed like the streets would be handling this themselves, because only days after the murder of Roy Lee, the very man who he'd been trying to fight for over a year, Yella Beezy, would be targeted in a shooting that would nearly claim his life. Despite the tension on the streets of Dallas, Yella Beezy had a record 2018. His buzzing hit That's On Me got in rotation on Dallas rap station K104 in March, and the song caught on at other radio stations, eventually becoming radio's #1 mainstream rap and R&B song at the time. Yella Beezy was charting on Billboard, and in September, he would get another industry W. Off the back of his buzz in Texas, he was invited to open for Jay-Z and Beyonce in Arlington at a September spot on their On The Run 2 tour. This was also the song that put Yella Beezy on the radar of rap A&R Chris Turner, who landed him a big deal on L.A. Reid's record label Hitco. Things couldn't have been better for Yella Beezy at this time in his career. However, the goings-on in the streets had the potential to put the brakes on his incredible career run. Following the tension with Roy Lee, individuals claiming to be affiliated with Dallas Crips were taking to social media and sending threats.
Yeah, what, cuz? I don't give a what kind of gang you in. What's cracking? I don't know what kind of look you is, but I don't give a. What's up? You might be a neighborhood or a six, some. I don't know what the you is. I don't know what the you is, and I really don't give a. And you can't do that. You out here, mother. Thank you, tough, because you got a little money. You got your little social buzz. Oh, Crip, what's up?
Now, it's been disputed whether or not the man in that video was actually any serious threat, but what we do know is that people all over the city were devastated by the loss of Roy Lee, from his own family to friends like Mo3 and his manager Rainwater. Clearly, somebody was out for revenge for what happened to Roy Lee, because only days after he was pronounced dead, in the early hours of the morning, on October the 14th, 2018, Yella Beezy is targeted in a drive-by shooting on the Sam Rayburn Tollway in Lewisville, Texas. The news reported over a dozen rounds were fired in the incident, with police finding a wounded Yella Beezy at 3:30 a.m. alongside State Highway 121 bypass, suffering 3 gunshot wounds. His G-Wagon was allegedly completely destroyed, and this near-fatal highway shooting was significant enough to make it to the TV news.
Lewisville police say at 3:38 this morning they got a 911 call from a driver saying he'd been shot multiple times by someone in another vehicle in the northbound lanes of the Sam Rayburn Tollway at FM 544. Police say 26-year-old DeAndre Conway was shot 3 times and was still conscious and breathing when he was transported to a nearby hospital.
After the shooting, Beezy was taken to the hospital, but fortunately survived, being pictured on Twitter in stable condition, surrounded by his family. And he would later even show off his gunshot wounds to IG Live viewers in a clip that's probably too gory to show you on YouTube.
Stand up, Tom. Otherwise, it's gonna take you. Feels like he. This is all right here. This right here. This one, this right here, the chest tube bit. Right here, they would drain the blood out of my lungs. See, like, with a lot of them, like, I got here right there too. Nah, that's right here, the chest tube bit. And they would drain the blood from my lungs, you know what I'm saying? This right here, got shot right here too. Y'all see how ugly my nipple look. Yeah, everything on Apple, on everywhere, all music platforms, you feel me?
Seemingly, no arrests would be made in connection to this shooting, and despite the Dallas Observer reporting that Beezy's rapid rise had been halted by the shooting. Following his recovery, Beezy would quite literally be back at it again, continuing his career on an upward trajectory through the rest of 2018, releasing his next project, Ain't Going Back, in November, which had big features from his idols Boosie and Kevin Gates, as well as YG, Lil Baby, 2 Chainz, T.I., Jeezy, and Rich the Kid. And that same month, Yella Beezy also opened up about the shooting in an extensive Breakfast Club interview, where they questioned him more intensely than the Dallas police probably did. He would explain that he left the club and people were following him home on the highway, eventually opening fire on his car.
You know, I told him I gotta go. So when I'm leaving, I get up to the car. Everybody know, like, when you leave the club, you gotta be looking like you really like you gotta try to see who follows. So when I leave the club, I'm on the red lights and everything. So if you comfortably red light, that means you follow. So I'm on top of it, so I know what to do. Like after that, you get what I'm saying? I'll get on the highway. I'm punching it. Like it seemed like a couple cars trying to pull up on me. I was looking down. That's when I guess the car put up beside me and started leading to the bar.
Beezy described the shooting himself, saying that he climbed in the passenger seat and steered the car whilst it was still moving with one hand whilst trying to find his gun, ultimately crashing the car and running off.
I ended up like literally jumping into like the passenger seat. I started trying to steer because I'm trying to find the gun. I'm studying getting hit up, and so I swerved and I spun back and I crashed the car. So I found my phone, and opened up, got the car, I started running.
Beezy would also say that he believed the hate against him was all because he's overtaken the other rappers in his city, like Mo3, saying that they can't handle his success.
It's just a jealousy thing. Like, a lot of people can't stomach, like, they was once apart, like, where they from, where you from, and now you at a high level. You know what I'm saying? And they not at that level you at. You know what I'm saying?
He would also say that he believes that the entire beef with rappers or anybody, which I guess includes comedian, was not started by him, but he will finish it.
When it comes to these rappers and everything, like anybody, if y'all see yelling into something, you know, they started first. 100 times out of 100, they started. Now just don't start nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be one finish it. You get what I'm saying? Like, we take stuff to a whole nother different level. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I stay out of stuff.
DJ Envy would then ask Beezy if the shooting was connected to the murder that took place days before, with Beezy denying it.
And that was rumors it was retaliation for somebody that got killed. Yeah, like, I ain't never spoke on dude in interviews. I ain't gonna speak on that, but like, he wasn't even no threat to do no stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and from here, he would open up and make it clear that they were referring to Roy Lee, with Yella Beezy bringing up Roy Lee's offer to fight, saying that he would have fought him if he saw him, but denying having anything to do with his death.
The whole time you screaming out fighting. That's what we want to do. So when I seen that's what we gonna do. We had already had a conversation where we did that. I did that. Like you not know, like rest in peace him. Like I don't wish no death on nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't had nothing to do with me.
Beezy would also break down the shooting and its aftermath with DJ Vlad, giving even more information, saying that nobody was arrested for the shooting, but also saying he wouldn't say if he did know.
So you're sticking to the code with all this?
I don't know nothing about nothing.
No, nothing about nothing.
Nothing about nothing.
Right.
However, Detective Vlad wasn't ready to give up on the case just yet, as sometime later he would also ask Mo3 about the incident, with Mo3 seemingly sticking to the street code too.
When Yella Beezy got shot up, what were your thoughts about that?
I gotta stay out the way. It's the word. You gotta stay out the way, man.
Clearly the tension between the rappers in Dallas was getting worse and worse as the months went by, and at a certain point OGs from the rap game were even getting involved trying to give advice. Lil Boosie warned Yella Beezy after the incident, saying that he needs to keep a gun in his car and he shouldn't go back to his own city because the haters there will kill you.
Yeah, Yella Beezy got hit up too. You know, when you go back to it, so you gotta have 50 guns around you, man. When you go back to your studio, know that you got the element, come back. You don't know that being something middle school, you know, even to get you love that they don't give the winners won't come back. You gotta have 50 guns around you at home, man. You got them on the video, that's instance. They hit a child with energy, they got hip hop shooter than anybody. You know, kill a child with energy, and then hurt you. You know, they put you on a t-shirt. These guys studying against you. You know, they school with them. They was in the same class what you doing the other than you in the same room. Yeah, laboratory, these gonna put you against, yeah. So they're gonna put you against, you know, they not just school with you. They just gonna be in the room class. And now you're in success, you know. Hey, I'm trying to get this, I'm trying to bring it down.
Unfortunately, despite being someone both Mo3 and Yella Beezy looked up to, Boosie's words of wisdom weren't enough to calm tempers in Dallas. And moving into 2019, we'd sadly see more clashes and escalations from these two talented artists. After After recovering from the shooting, Yella Beezy got straight back to his buzzing rap career. In December 2018, dropping the video for What I Did featuring Kevin Gates, another monster hit showcasing Beezy's melodic abilities on the mic that today sits over 65 million views. But Yella Beezy wasn't the only one pushing his career forward. Also in December 2018, Mo3 would return with his latest tape, 911 Gangsta Grills, hosted by legendary DJ Drama. DJ Drama, who would shout out Roy Lee between tracks, starting off with the aggressive track Outside, where a defiant Mo3 appeared to tell his ops that he's outside and ready for the smoke, and ready to put someone to sleep. He would also have the track Word Around Town, a track where Mo3 seemingly infers that he was involved in Yella Beezy's shooting, as the track features numerous lyrics referencing people being shot in their cars, like this one where Mo3 raps, "Word around town that some body got found, slumped over in the car, body stretched out on the ground." As well as another lyric where he raps, "My guy got hit, now I gotta slide for this." And even one lyric where Mo3 quite literally says, "They just got the word to me, the op in town hit the dude's car up, watch it spin around." On Scared of Me, he claims that he's ahead of his ops in the city and that they're scared of him. Clearly, following the tension in the city, a defiant Mo3 was looking to send a message. And whilst there was a lot of negativity behind some of the music coming out of Dallas, the city's rap scene was absolutely buzzing going into 2019. In January, Mo3 would get a call from Boosie, who was apparently at DJ Khaled's house, ready to record an iconic remix to his track Everybody. Everybody was on Mo3's Shotters 3.0 mixtape that dropped in March 2018, but Boosie breathed new life into the remix, dropping a video for Everybody featuring Boosie on the 14th of January 2019, with the track becoming one of Mo3's most streamed songs to date, sitting right now over 103 million YouTube views. But Mo3 wasn't the only person in the city making moves around this time either. Also in January, Trapboy Freddy would drop his latest project, Rockboy Freddy 2020 Flow, and Yella Beezy would drop big videos for his tracks My Way Up and Keep It On Me. But sadly, moving into late February, the feud between Dallas's buzzing rappers would kick off once again, when on February the 22nd, 2019, Mo3 releases the song 219, commemorating the birthday of Roy Lee and dissing numerous rappers from the Texas rap scene. Mo3 would say that if he died today, one of his ops would die too, and that the interviewers keep asking him about the other rappers in his city and that he hates all of them and they're scared of him. He claims he's not about the internet beef and that he is actually going to kill one of these rappers. He rapped that he shot at somebody's Sprinter bus, an apparent reference to an earlier shooting targeting Trapboy Freddy's Sprinter. He references the body in Fort Worth, saying that he had a show but he doesn't recall the murder, and referencing Yella Beezy's shooting, saying you heard about that rapper that got shot on the tollway, as well as saying that the city knows what he did when he hit up that rapper and made him famous, and saying that he barely made it and he won't make it again. And he would claim that his ops have put a $10,000 bounty on his head, but they won't be successful. Naturally, this song caused shockwaves in the Texas rap community. Go Yayo would respond to lyrics from the song by Mo3 on Live, denying lyrics from the song, saying that Mo3 had never hurt him, and suggesting that Mo3 isn't responsible for the shootings he claimed in the song.
When you made that song, it's like, ooh, I'm gonna studio with this one. I'm gonna drop it on Roy Lee's birthday so I can get all them that behind me. Ooh, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. You making all this talking about you done hit screws up, boy. Stop playing with us. Well, be for real. I ain't never heard about no slapping me, punching me down. None of that. Should have kept the murder out your little rap beat, boy. Tollway. You gotta be a stupid up. Shoot at it on a tollway. Every time you jump on a tollway, it's cameras.
Yale would go on to suggest that Mo3 was not the person who caught the body, as some people thought, during that altercation in Fort Worth.
Should have never said nothing about no Fort Worth, murder, all that. Stop lying, bro. Why every time you speak on the murder, you talking about like you done caught a body in my city, but you ain't caught in my city, but STD for that little nasty you was in my city, boy.
And Yale would go on to say, if he's in the club with his ops, then it's going down, and Mo3 doesn't do anything about it.
It's all no. I'm in the club, and the boys in the club. It's gonna go down, boy.
Yale would go on to claim that he would beat up Mo3 when he sees him, and then revealing that Trapboy Freddy has footage of Mo3 apparently running away from him.
We got you, boy. We get you, boy. We gonna be got you. I don't care, boy. These boys got you on camera. These boys got you on camera. Running under cars. Running under cars. Stop telling me.
And this bold claim by Go Yayo would be backed up by Trapboy Freddy himself, who would then take to Facebook sharing this supposed video, leading to a vicious back and forth between Mo3 and Trapboy Freddy. Soon after Mo3 released his diss song 219, dropping shade on numerous Texas rap rivals, Trapboy Freddy would take to social media attempting to get back at Mo3 and embarrass him, leaking a grainy piece of surveillance footage purporting to show Mo3 pointing at somebody and subsequently leaving the scene, with it being implied that he had been chased away by Trapboy Freddy. The clip had apparently been shared on Facebook by Freddy himself, who claimed this altercation is the reason that Mo3 has been hiding from him for a year, and suggesting that Mo3 had turned up thinking Freddy wasn't with his homies because no cars were outside, saying that Mo3 wanted to talk and ended up running away down the street. Apparently this confrontation had happened a little while after Mo3 and Freddy stopped talking, this being the result of Mo3 being upset that Freddy continued working with Go Yayo following the nightclub shootout, with that collab of course being the song Six Pick, which featured Yella Beezy, Trapboy Freddy and Go Yayo, with Mo3 and Trapboy Freddy going back and forth in respective Say Cheese interviews.
Like, yeah, what he really meant, or however he meant it. Yeah. If it wasn't nothing towards me, you gotta say that, bro. No, my, and I vouch for him on every level. So, if it ain't the same, it ain't that. I ain't gotta stop talking to nobody.
You can't get on social media and explain everything that's going on the street. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. The goddamn radio people, the goddamn bloggers, you can't tell them, say, we ain't doing this because of this and this and this. You can't do that. You just go your way and do your thing and worry about yourself. Like, and you know, they gonna paint their own picture at the end of the day, but like, nah, man, like.
Mo3 would respond to this newly leaked footage in a heated IG live where he seemingly rebuffed claims that he was running away, telling Freddy to post the full video, which apparently tells a very different story, and saying that he pulled up on Freddy a year ago, and Freddy did not want the smoke.
Post that whole motherfucking video, I'm gonna beat your motherfucking ass. Talking about running, scared of you. Did you tell him I'm in your hood? Did you tell him that? Did you tell him on the video that I pulled up in front of your motherfucker? That's a year ago. You ain't want to scratch. I was telling him, blood, I just want to fight. I just want to beat you up real fast. Now I'm doing, blood, you don't put that down, blood. Blood, put that down right there. Just come on, blood. This is all I got in my head, blood. Put that down right there. Okay, cool, all right.
Mo3 would go on to suggest that he had fled that day because the police arrived, not because Freddy was chasing him, and saying that Say Cheese will back all this up.
Hey, tell me, everybody run from you to the Lions game. Tell them why I left. Tell them why I left. Post the whole video. You bad. Listen what I said. Say Cheese trying to get in my business. Sean Cotton. Tune in, Sean Cotton. I'm trying to Say Cheese in. Say Cheese seen that video, so he know that I'm about what I'm talking. Say Cheese seen the whole video. If y'all see the whole video, listen, in the street, you know, if the police come, fam, it was like 8 or 9 from the block that day, broad day with that. You know, if you saw the whole video, you know what I'm talking about. If the police ride by and see that, you better run, mother. They hit the whole U, everybody ran. Post the whole video.
Mo3 would then go on to name all of the Oak Cliff OGs who were apparently there that day of this altercation, suggesting that nobody wanted to fight with him.
Hey, matter of fact, I'm name dropping all the Oak Cliff that was out there that day. It's Sean, said, your OG partners was out there. Tell them your OG partners was out there. KJ, Keith the Pope OG. Yeah. Tell them Red Dog was out there. Another big homie, he was out there. What Mo3 do? What Mo3 do when he pulled up? Say, if I want to look at that, let me scratch him and put you down real fast. Come on. No, I don't do no fight. I don't do no fight over here, man. We too fly for that, man. Oh, we too fly for that.
Mo3 would even go on to say that he arrived with one of his friends who knocked on the door, telling everybody that he was here to fight with Freddy, but Freddy didn't want the fight.
My partner knocked on your door, and I told him, because I was talking to the OG right there, you know what I was telling him? Hey, I'm trying to scratch him down. Hey, for real, I'm like, yeah, what I came over here for. You know, I ain't strapped right here. I ain't no burning, no nothing. I ain't got none of that. I'm finna punch him down, Rico. We're gonna get this out of the way. He come outside. Oh, what's up? What's up? Don't do no fight. I said, come on, blood. I said, don't take that long. No, don't do no fight. Post the whole video, though, so they can see. Bro, you didn't want to fight, so I left. Police came, so I left, man.
And in the end, Mo3 would say that he's in Dallas now, and there's still time to meet up for a fight.
I'm in Dallas right now. Blood, come on, blood. Pop out right now. What time is it? Blood, pop out. We pop out scratch real quick. Come on, blood.
But Freddy would clap back at Mo3 with his own line, saying that he doesn't rap, and because he has money from the streets, he doesn't need to beef Mo3.
They gotta do that, Roush. I don't gotta do that, Roush. I can sit back on these bands, boy, and play with you all day, boy. See, I don't gotta do that. I don't gotta book the shows. I don't gotta do none of that. See, Freddy got money older than you, little boy.
before you got bad. You know what I'm saying?
Freddie then went further, saying that the footage he shared was only one incident, going on to suggest that they caught Mo3 trying to go into a nightclub, King of Diamonds, a few months after this incident.
And that's just one incident. Oh, you may have thought I was bored. 2-3 months later, after the video, you try to go to the club KOD. Do you not remember trying to go to KOD? Do you remember trying to go to KOD? What?
Freddie would go on to question why Mo3 went live when they're in the same city and he could have just pulled up on him that day.
How's you going live and we in the same city? Dude, let's get this gate popping. Come on, let's pop up. You know it. So in the fight. Well, you better go sign up for boxing.
Clearly Mo3 was up for this challenge, as he would be seen on live once again that day, saying that he's ready to meet Freddie for a fight.
Blood. Kill out it. Let's pop out. I'm in the city right now. Let's pop out. Where you at? Let's pop out. We gotta go pop out. Ain't nobody out. Ain't nobody listen. Ain't nobody really gotta pop out to me and you. In the camera.
Mo3 would go on to say how frustrating it was for Freddie to tell him to come and pull up on him, when that's literally what he did in the video a year before.
I am from North Dallas. I went to Oak Cliff on Sino. With some Oak Cliff, I went and pulled up at that boy's store. Like a real dude. I didn't get on Facebook. I pulled up. Y'all didn't even know about this. And here come a year later, they want to post a little bit of a video. So, I pulled up.
Mo3 would also deny Freddie's earlier claims that he was mad at him for not being on the song Pick 6, saying that he never cared about that song, and saying that he simply pulled up once he heard Freddie had been talking on him.
This the day he got on live and said, I didn't want to be on Pick 6. Now he know I ain't give a about that damn song. I don't know why he did that. Instead of responding to it, y'all notice I never said nothing back. I pulled up. On him. That's what we're in.
Mo3 would go on to call for Freddie to meet him for a fight numerous times over the course of the live.
Look, it ain't nothing for us to get in vehicles, pull up. Everybody out there, so it won't be no friction. It won't be no misunderstanding. You understand me? Hell, I don't give a damn if you bring your kids. I don't give a damn. Hey, call the referee. I don't give a what they do. I do you up. I come with just 4 people. You can come with 100 people or 50 people like you always do. I just come with 4 people. Is that cool with you? Let's just go ahead, pull up. I punch you in your mouth a couple times. It's, you know, that's cool.
And seemingly after this, Mo3 would jump in the car and quite literally pull up once again, claiming to be outside the CME headquarters where Freddie hangs out.
I don't keep talking about this. Because I'm out here. I'm in CME.
Mo3 would also post a story claiming that Freddie was just there, so he pulled up there, but suggesting that the IG Live was cut short because his phone died on location. Apparently he didn't find anybody there when he pulled up, going on to question where the new CME HQ is located, and then he would take to live once more, asking where that new location is.
Where did you shop at, blood? Tell me, blood, I'm gonna pop out. Nah, but really, tell me. I just went to where you was at. Just rolled around in the car, said you was over there. I would have known that. Tell me.
And following that up with a story saying that Freddie and Yella are scared of him. Now clearly things were escalating to dangerous levels at this point, and naturally the public nature of this feud would soon drag others into the drama. In Mo3's original live, he said that the beef between him and Freddie wasn't about Oak Cliff versus North Dallas, because he has friends in Oak Cliff, even calling on the OGs to stick up for him.
This not about no Oak Cliff, North Dallas. This not none of that. This about us and them. I got partners from the Cliff, fam. I got like we heard we heard like so. Like, I'll be already in there, bro. Like, I'm already there. You can't. I need all the OG. I need all the OG stand up. This is an OG affair right now.
Now, after all of this went down, some Dallas OGs would go on Real Life for an interview denying that they were involved in Mo3's beef. With this apparently going on after a since-deleted Say Cheese post suggested that Mo3 was banned from his own hood.
After reportedly being banned from his own city for making a controversial diss record, Dallas rapper Hot Boy Mo3 returns to his hood in North Dallas. I didn't know he dropped us something against Yella Beezy. You know, because we don't got nothing against Yella Beezy or Trap Boy. This ain't no Oak Cliff, North Dallas thing. On some you got going with Yella Beezy. Man, we not going for that, bro. We ain't got nothing to do with Yella Beezy, a Trap Boy Freddie. and Mo3 beef. That's what that happened. We don't even know nothing about this.
Following that, Mo3 then appeared on a real-life interview of his own, denying claims made the previous day that he's not respected in the North, with Mo3 appearing surrounded by his own lineup of North Dallas goons and going on to call out blogs for posting fake news and instigating drama in the city.
People say Mo3 can't come in our Dallas. You know how mad I be?
Yeah.
Who said I can't? What the? They just gonna put that on there like that's really like that, like somebody standing on that. That's straight up and down, fam. Bloggers is bloggers. I get mad every time a blogger puts something the wrong company. You get mad. I can't. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately, only a few weeks after this, violence would be sparked on the streets of Dallas once again, when on March the 13th, 2019, a friend of Mo3's by the name of James Browning Jr., aka Bubba, would be shot dead outside of a South Dallas convenience store, with the entire shooting captured on camera and broadcast on the news, but is way too violent to show you on YouTube. Following the murder, Go Yayo would gloat on Facebook saying Mo3's songs got his friends killed. Meanwhile, Mo3 would honour Bubba in posts saying that he was at big record label meetings, thinking of nothing but his fallen friend. At this point, the beef is beginning to spiral out of control, with Mo3 running around seemingly pulling up on people and dragging the local OGs into the drama, seemingly completely unafraid of what the consequences might be. But strangely, awfully silent during this period was Yella Beezy, who decided to remain behind the scenes and not take the bait, moving in silence, focusing for the time being on his buzzing music career, and the following month dropping one of the biggest songs that he had released to date. And from there, it wouldn't take long for another clash to pop off with Mo3, this time with the police getting involved. Following his recovery, the first big single that Yella Beezy dropped was the smash hit Back At It Again on March the 15th, 2019, with this track coming with big features from the likes of Quavo of the Migos and Gucci Mane. And a music video came out the following month, which to date has racked up close to 80 million views. This song would land on the Billboard Hot 100 charts too, peaking at number 78, and by the end of the year it was even certified gold. But the track also had some cryptic lyrics that referenced the Tollway shooting and the beef in his city, with Yella Beezy rapping, "Last month I got shot, I've been went up on features, body for body, my dudes are some demons, we tit for tat, leave you busted and bleeding." This track was from his 2019 mixtape Back End Beezy, which also featured the track Restroom Occupied featuring Chris Brown. And despite the tension and close brush with death, by this point it seemed as if Yella Beezy was truly back at it again and taking his career to brave new heights. Meanwhile, Trap Boy Freddy was goading the opposition too, showing off a newly renovated Sprinter bus following Mo3's allegations of somebody having had their Sprinter shot up. In June 2019, Mo3 would release his new video for the track Alter Ego, aka Mo3 vs Osama. And this song would see Mo3 introduce the world to his new alter ego, Osama 3 Laden. Yeah, that's really what he called himself. Along with revealing his provocative, iced-out Osama pistol chain that he would become synonymous with. This song would see Mo3 rapping back and forth between his two alter egos, Mo3 and Osama 3 Laden, his evil side, an apparent body-catching demon. Clearly, Mo3 didn't mind playing the villain in his city, to the point where he would nickname him after one of the most hated terrorists in American history. And with that mindset, it's really no surprise that things would pop off once again between these Dallas rappers, with the next clash happening in July 2019, when allegedly a promoter attempted to book Mo3 and Yella Beezy to play the same concert, the 2019 Unruly Citizens Festival at the Ford Center. Mo3 would arrive to perform, being told by police he would not be allowed to enter the venue where Yella Beezy was, ultimately leading to him being arrested, with Mo3 broadcasting his own arrest on IG Live.
Hey, what's your birthday? May 31st. That's your birthday? I ain't doing nothing on the show. Stay right there. I ain't doing nothing. You're not in the show, dude. You're not in the show.
Mo3 would be escorted from the venue in handcuffs, later taking to social media to mock the police and Yella Beezy for having him removed from the show, and suggesting that a flyer that had both Mo3 and Yella Beezy's names on it had been taken down from the internet, leading some skeptics to suggest that Mo3 was never booked to perform there at all.
I ain't going in the show if he in the building. I ain't gonna do the show if he still here. I told y'all it was a problem. My son fear for his safety. Y'all need to get him out of here. Okay, we're gonna hit him with trespassing. Okay, we're gonna hit him with trespassing. Sir, you have a warrant, sir. You're not supposed to be here. What? Well, I got a warrant. I'm down trespassing. Which one is it? Which one is it? I just can't do my show. Sir, you're not on the show since when? Since when I ain't on the show?
Since when I ain't on the show? My name on the flyer. Oh, they took out the flyer down off their page. So now people saying he was never on the show. I ain't got no beef with no rapper. I don't know trying to tell them that I came here to do a show. But they told us, we see you on the premises. It's gonna get you up out of there. Who told y'all that? Blake, you told me that Dallas Gang even called and said, y'all gotta take Mo3 off the show because he's a gang member. I thought whatchamacallit was neighborhood. I thought he was rolling 60 clip. That don't make no sense, man. Come on, y'all killing me with these lies, man. Y'all sit there and boot me for the show. Had all my people and fans buy tickets. I wasn't in there 20 minutes.
Now, various versions of the flyer with Mo3's name have been posted online, but Yella Beezy himself would also claim that this was a fake flyer, suggesting that Mo3 cannot get booked anywhere or make money like him, suggesting that Mo3's whole narrative of getting thrown out of the show was fake, basically suggesting that the whole arrest was just a gimmick to try and get attention, basically a publicity stunt.
Let's get one thing straight. You just up and can't get booked nowhere, so y'all trying to play the stupid kumbaya game, making fake flyers, trying to get people to think that we cool, and shit ain't sweet on this end. Ain't now on the same motherfucking flyer as me at all. You know what I'm saying? If you really booked on a motherfucking flyer, show your contracts. Everybody gotta have contracts when you get paid for a show or you doing free show. If you was on the show, why did you walk through the front of the building? Everybody know when you're on, walk through the back of the building. So why did you walk through the front of it if you own the show? Man, come on, man, you playing games, man. Ain't nobody want even around the vicinity of the venue when you try to pull up. Out of all the shows we've been doing in Dallas, we do shows all across Dallas, Fort Worth, all this. Why would you go to the one that's at Frisco when you know they're gonna have a whole bunch of police? For you to be safe. You so focused on trying to ride my way and trying to look at my motherfucking pocket, you can't do your own shit. You know what I'm saying? Like all that publicity, it's not gonna get you nowhere. You trying to come up out gimmicks. That's why you can't come up because gimmicks don't last long. That's why I think y'all couldn't. The whole city know you told. The whole city know you. All y'all gonna do is pull publicity stunts. Ain't about you solid, man. That's why you can't get past. So you trying to come up out gimmicks instead of being authentic with you trying to watch what's going on over here. Mad at the paper, man. I ain't worried what the fuck I'm gonna worry about who trying to do free shows. I got 70 down this week off shows. I done made 70 this week up shows, so why the fuck am I worried about it? Who trying to do shows for free?
Trapboy Freddy would also take to social media to call Mo3's arrest a publicity stunt.
A publicity stunt. Oh, look at the fire. I want to be relevant. Don't. Hey, let me be with them. Look at that over there. Hey, you ain't want to shit on the other side. Well, I really don't think you went to jail. Like, personally, I don't think you went to jail. But if you did return class and whatever, hey, come on, let's study it up, man. No fun out. Well, that's a misdemeanor, bro.
2 days after that incident, a clip would be posted to Vlad TV, where Vlad asks Yella Beezy about the beef with Mo3, with Yella Beezy claiming to have no idea who Mo3 is, also denying having ever heard Mo3's diss song 219.
After we did the interview with you, I interviewed Mo3.
Who?
Mo3.
I don't know who that is. Where you from?
I think he's from the same place you're from. Same area.
Dallas?
Yeah. Never heard of him?
I know everybody from my city making noise.
Mo3 dropped a song called 219. Some people say it's a diss song towards you.
I ain't never heard it.
Clearly Mo3 was still feeling sore about what happened at the venue, and no doubt Yella Beezy denying his existence only angered him more. So the following day, on July the 30th, 2019, Mo3 releases a music video for the track Let Me Find Out, where he appeared to go at Yella Beezy directly, referencing being ejected from that concert where they were both supposed to play together, suggesting that the police recommended he leave due to Beezy not wanting him there, with Mo3 suggesting that he had lied to police, saying that he was friends with Beezy to try and get in the venue, and saying that he plans to shoot every diamond off his teeth, as well as once again referencing that shooting on the highway, and lyrics suggesting that Beezy had told his team that he wasn't going to the show if Mo3 was there, alleging that his manager had called and said that it wouldn't be safe. And he would even say on the outro of the track that the promoter had asked if it was okay to put Mo3 and Beezy on the same show, with Mo3 suggesting that he had no problem with it, and suggesting that the promoter had asked Beezy whether they could be in the same venue together, alleging Beezy had said that he doesn't want to be within 50 feet of Mo3. The day this track dropped, Go Yayo would take to Facebook to diss Mo3, and at some point Mo3 would take to IG Live once again to rant about his recent beefs in the city for close to an hour. First off, rebuffing claims that his arrest at the Ford Center was a publicity stunt, and saying that everybody will owe him an apology after he exposes the facts on live.
Y'all always it's a publicity stunt. If you was one of them in the comments before I'm finna expose this, Please apologize to me after this.
He would go on to show a flyer and an Instagram post confirming that he was indeed booked for the show.
Who I was on the phone with? I was on the phone with Unruly Citizens. That's who, you know, the concert at the Ford Center. Unruly. I'm gonna show y'all, man. So, you know, it's Unruly. There you go. Unruly.
Mo3 would explain that there were 4 promoters and that one of 4 promoters claimed that BZ called them and said that he doesn't want Mo3 to be there.
You got a couple members of Unruly. It's like a group of them. And at first, you had 3 of them saying, okay, cool, it's good for the show. And then you got this one saying, man, I don't like saying the rapper. Man, I don't know if that's a good idea, man. I want you to call it. It's calling us saying they don't want to be on the show with them and whoop and all this. And, you know, we done already paid them and stuff. And, you know, we're just now adding you on. They just added me on. They did. I'm already doing shows.
Mo3 claimed to have told the promoters that there was no beef between him and Yella Beezy, with them saying that Beezy told them that there was beef and that Mo3 had asked them to put Beezy on the phone, which they wouldn't do.
Well, I don't got no beef for no rapper. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about no rap beef. I don't have that. Sir, what you talking about? Man, he said that y'all got a problem. He said that. Let me talk to him. Put him on the phone. No, we can't do that. Man, just put us on the phone, man. This business. I ain't got no rap beef.
Mo3 went on to say that he thought he was booked for the show, even saying that Future, one of the headliners, shared the flyer with Mo3's name on it publicly, suggesting that they only deleted the flyers mentioning Mo3 after the event had taken place without Mo.
So I told the promoter, I'm gonna do, you know what I'm saying? Book me, I'm gonna do my shit. I don't know nothing about no rap beef. So he was like, man, bro, you for real? I'm like, bro, I'm for real, bro. All my kids. How y'all think I got on this show? Did y'all really think I just popped up out somewhere? I was promoted on the radio, billboard ads, in hold on, Future even posted me. Future, you can't, if y'all don't believe me, Future page, when he promoted the shows, they waited till y'all was saying, they waited till the internet started saying, he wasn't even on the show. They was like, oh, man, the internet thinking he wasn't even on the show. Let's hurry up and go delete all the promotion we did of him. So I'm looking like, they deleted it by you. Guess what? I recorded it. Future. This Future page. This, watch this. See, they wasn't too quick on their feed. Look, this Future page. Future, Wednesday at 9:23. Whole name there say at the bottom. Oh, apologize to me, y'all. Say sorry, Mo3. So Future Live haven't been on this show. This Future page. This is a real page. Say sorry, Mo3.
Mo3 would go on to say that he felt like the venue and the promoters finessed him, even going as far as to play a recording of the promoter supposedly telling Mo3 he was all clear to perform.
And then they called me back 2 days later and said, okay, we made up our mind, you can get on. You think I'm lying? Guess what? It's already recorded. Let's let the game begin. They called me at 11:50 in the morning. Listen, and this is what they told me. They said, okay, we all came to an agreement. You can get on the show again. I'm like, so I told you I ain't tripping with the rap. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about that rap. I'm steady saying it. I'm hollering at this whole time.
What's going on?
You know, how you want to do it. Saturday, you know, they just want to make sure that we have the show. I don't have, any experts.
Listen, we're running back. He said, I just want to help let you know I hope you're ready for Saturday. I hope you have a good show.
Yeah, no, we're good. I'm Gucci. I'm just ready to rock out, do my thing.
You're not trying to like escalate any situation. You just want to put on a good show for the person that there. Keep traveling, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm on the same page as y'all.
You want to beat them people directly so you feel confident because I obviously get you when you set up the crowd. That's what I was our stuff. So we want to make sure it's on your day because it's a regular show.
Listen, did you hear what he said? He said, obviously, you're very good at what you do. We would love to have you on the show. You can bring in a crowd. And it's going to help our show. A show that y'all said I wasn't on. Y'all better apologize to me, bro. Y'all hurt my feelings. This is the who run the show. Listen, we're not going to take you off the show. Did you hear what the promoter said? Tell me sorry.
Stop playing with me. Tell me sorry.
Mo3 would go on to say that the police outside the venue told him that Yella Beezy specifically claimed he didn't feel safe with Mo3 in the venue.
I'm confused why I'm handcuffed. I'm confused why y'all violate me. I'm an artist, sir. I'm verifying, sir. Sir, what you doing, sir? I'm supposed to be here, sir. Your show has been canceled. When, sir? I don't know nothing about that. When did they cancel the show? When? He got me in the car and said, you had beef with a rapper. I don't have beef with no rapper. Well, that's what him and his team is saying. Him and his team are telling us that they don't want to be near you. Why? What's going to happen in Frisco?
Mo3 would then address Yella Beezy's DJ Vlad interview, where he said that he didn't know who he was just the day before this, with Mo3 saying rather menacingly, how are you going to say you don't know me when you felt me?
Why you get on Vlad TV talking about you don't know me? When you don't feel me, you get what I'm saying? But come on, man, you felt my presence before, sir. I didn't act like I didn't know you, sir. I said he's a good rapper.
Mo3 then proceeded to mock Yella Beezy for telling Vlad he doesn't know him, but telling the police all about their business.
You know what you could have did? You could have told him like me it wasn't no smoke, and then we could they would let us get in there. We'd have been the same.
You ain't gonna do that, bitch. Nah, you ain't gonna do that. I know. It's okay. It's okay. I ain't mad at you. I am mad at you. Nah, I ain't mad at you. I'm just playing with you. You make me look like a liar. You made me look like a liar to the cops, man. Because I sit up there and I was trying to, keep it real and say that it was not any beef, because I don't even know anything about no beef. And you went right over there with your little light skin and you told those folks it was smoke. You told those folks you cannot be by me. So you were sweating, sir. They told me, sir, you were sweating, sir. Sir, I would have loved to see you sweat.
Now, to be fair, Mo3 does kind of go on to contradict himself here, playing a call that apparently shows the promoter telling him that he was being taken off the show because of his gang ties.
Mo3, we gotta put you off the show. I said, what? But you ain't gotta put me off the show because you're a gang member. I said, isn't whatchamacallit Crip? I said, do y'all have something against Bloods? I didn't know it was illegal to be a gang member. As long as you're not doing gang member crimes, it's okay. You have the freedom of speech, the freedom to represent whatever you want to represent. They got Ku Klux Klan out here. 50 Cent was gang banging once upon a time. He's successful. Sir, I'm not comprehending Lil Wayne. I always say it's so woo. He's successful. Y'all think I'm lying? They said I could cook it all the gang member. Guess what? Don't come in here. Listen, he said the Dallas gang unit police called him and said, y'all have gang members on y'all show. And they said who? And I guess I'm the only gang member. So they had to take me off, but I thought whatchamacallit was a 6-0 neighborhood Crip. Right? They don't, come on. Y'all got something against them banner hoes? Ooh, 282. Oh. They over there talking about neighborhood, let's see, lie. But I'm the only gang member. This they put both of us on the show. These facts. Y'all ain't gonna make me look bad. What I'm lying for? Clout chasing for what?
And after some bounty hunter blood banging on the phone, Mo3 would claim that after his arrest, he managed to get the promoter to admit that it was Yella Beezy who didn't want him in the show, not the gang unit.
Mo3. So, but you just said they said they got gang members. I'm not blaming nothing on the police. Listen, this him. Felt like it was a bad idea. No, I can get quiet. Hello? Listen, he didn't want to listen. All this was a bad idea. Don't stop blaming the police. All this is going on. All this commotion caused up. I'm going to jail because a rapper is getting on your.
letting me on the show because he feared for his mother safety. How many times did you tell me that? And I said, why would he fear for his safety? I can't do nothing up here.
In the end, Mo3 spoke his piece and seemingly proved to the world that he was at least booked for the show at some point, rather than the whole thing being a publicity stunt. But at the same time, it does sound like he kind of knew he wasn't entirely welcome when he turned up at the venue. And even denying that all of this was for publicity, the promotion and subsequent Instagram live rant was indeed good publicity for Mo3. And despite Mo3 claiming time and time again that he could have been in the same venue with Yella Beezy without any drama, we all know that's not true. And from here on out, it would only take a couple of months before Mo3 and his ops would indeed find themselves at the same venue. And unsurprisingly, it all popped off. Following on from Mo3 being rejected from the concert at the Ford Center where Yella Beezy performed, he would continue to have back and forths with his biggest rival on social media. On October the 2nd, he appeared in a Say Cheese interview where he jokingly suggested that he might be willing to settle the beef in a celebrity boxing match, echoing Roy Lee's earlier sentiments.
Celebrity boxing man, gonna send me three first ones with Colin T. Diddy, not T. Diddy out third round. You get what I'm saying? He got nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then once we got it, just the icing on the cake. That's really what they want to see. They don't want to see TV. You get what I'm saying? Not fast. You get what I'm saying? Like, the TV in the back of that, someone gonna get him out first. You know, we might do anything. Damn real ring. School him up. He out there.
Despite saying that he would knock them out in the ring, Mo3 would go on to say in a less joking manner that it's possible he could have squashed the beef had he been allowed backstage at the Ford Center that day.
It could have been squashed that day. It could have been squashed. You get what I'm saying? When the promoter said, hey, do you think you could be on the same show as whatchamacallit? Duh. What you talking about? I do 1,000 shows. Ain't no man gonna stop me from not getting on stage. You get what I'm saying?
Later in August, Yella Beezy's full DJ Vlad interview would drop, where he would discuss the Tollway shooting, telling Vlad that he would not forgive the shooter, even going as far as to say that if his shooter apologized to him, they wouldn't make it out of the building because Beezy wants his get back.
Now, you not gonna come and try to say, I'm the that shot you and think you can walk away. I'm gonna get my lick back.
Also in the interview, Beezy would discuss his monster jewelry collection, suggesting that at this point in his career, he has 7 figures at least in ice alone.
Would you say you have $1 million in jewelry at this point?
Sure.
Clearly, Beezy was doing very well for himself off of shows. In fact, do you remember when Mo3 did get let into the concert and Yella Beezy went on that rant where he said that Mo3 gets no bookings and makes no money and bragged about all the money he was making from shows?
Don't be worried about nothing. I done make 70 plus this week out shows, man. How can I worry about nothing? I do this every week. I'm good for 3 shows a week, including after parties. So you add that up. How am I gonna even have the knowledge or even try to have the time to pay attention to another? How? So get to some money. I ain't worried about you.
Well, clearly these words got in Mo3's head, because after Yella Beezy's DJ Vlad interview, Mo3 would be seen on social media spending $90,000 in jewelry, seemingly proving to the world that he's not short of money.
That's how you Come on, man. Hey, man. Get that. That drill. That drill, man. Get that drill. Oh, yeah. That way. That way. Get my boy. Get my boy. Let know what we doing. Lord. That's around.
60 for the watch, 30 for the chain.
Later that month, Mo3 would appear on No Jumper, where Adam 22 asked Mo3 what it would take for the beef to settle down, with Mo3 echoing Roy Lee, saying that he wants to fight his ops in the ring for money and settle things that way.
Would be able to, like, sit down and sort it out. You suggested a boxing match, and you said cheese in the ring.
Yeah, look. Let me, I just want to punch him down. If it's some beef, I still don't know nothing about this beef. I'm not no boxer, but I'll punch him down. You get what I'm saying? It's like, just to shut everybody up. Punch them down, we punch it out for some money, and we get the money to charity. You know what I'm saying? Give them to the kids. You know, the kids gonna love to see they hometown rappers scratch.
Smoke it up.
They gonna smoke it out in the gloves.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And once they do that, after I beat they turn around and give them kids their money. You get what I'm saying?
Seemingly in response to this, Yella Beezy posted on his Instagram saying that he can't wait to punch Mo3. And unfortunately, only a few weeks after this, yet another confrontation between Mo3 and Freddie taking place at the CME merch shop would be leaked on video. As on the 26th of September, Freddie would share surveillance video allegedly showing Mo3 arriving to the store once again looking for a fight, with someone shouting in Mo3's face, backed up by another man, allegedly Freddie holding what looks to be an assault rifle, with Freddie suggesting that this was the very day that Mo3's Roam Free pass was revoked. Mo3 would reply to this, mocking Freddie for standing there with a gun in his hand, whilst Mo3 himself was there, shirt off, ready to fight, and once again suggesting that this video had also been selectively edited. Mo3 would then take to Instagram, posting a video of him reacting to the footage and claiming that he came there unarmed to fight like a man.
It's friendly, fine. Look at this video. I'm straight off in your hood at your store. Till you put that down, I'm gonna beat you up, knock you out. And all your partners is around there. All your partners with you. I'm at your store. In your hood, I'm standing up at your store next to the most lunchroom. Shirt off. Look in the video, I'm in his face, shirt off. Put that strap down, I'm gonna knock your side to dig in. He can never put that. Come on now, ain't no damn fool. I don't want to punch too hard in this suit. Don't forget the fact, y'all. I came to his hood and at his store. My shirt, you see my shirt off and my shorts on, no strap in my hand. I could have bought a strap. Why I won't do all that? Man, that's broad daylight. Why I won't do all that? I came to punch on you. That's a little bit, and that was gonna be it. This guy tough with this big gun in his hand. He ain't shoot the. You're not supposed to draw down on the person, sir, if you're not gonna,
Mo3 would go on to say that the footage was 2 years ago and that he hasn't seen Freddie without a gun since, even questioning why Freddie didn't shoot him that day.
2 years ago, I ain't seen him since then without that gun. That's the video I was talking about. He still keep hitting that question the other day. How you live? Come to your store. It's your store on your block. Check you. Till you fight. You draw down with a AR and let them leave. And then shoot them and nothing happened to them. I'm on sorry. Came to your block. Hit your store. Let it come outside. Told you scratch. You drew down with an AR and you let them leave. Come on. I hope y'all ain't gonna find the fact that this had a strap and didn't want to scratch. It ain't like we seen each other somewhere else. I pulled up. That's what you call pull up. I pulled up. I came to where he at. And you let him leave. You let me leave. You drew down this big gun for nothing to let me leave. Because you want to punch that and get your knocked out. That's what the camera was going to show you. Get your knocked out. You ain't want that dude. Got a reputation of
Clearly Mo3 was looking for Freddie to engage in a fist fight rather than a gunfight, and the following month he would finally get what he was looking for, because at the 2019 Dallas State Fair in October, there was an altercation where Trap Boy Freddie allegedly caught Mo3's manager Brandon Rainwater lacking at the fair and started a mass brawl. Grainy footage would later surface of the incident, which is too violent to show you on YouTube, but it would purport to show somebody being sucker before a mass brawl broke out in the middle of the fair, with it being suggested that the person who was initially brushed and punched being Brandon Rainwater himself. Following the supposed fight, Trap Boy Freddie would post from the fair, telling Mo3 that his partner was getting beaten up. And sometime later, Freddie would post saying just how happy he was to finally punch someone with his big rings.
Oh, I finally got to hit it with the mother rings. Yes, sir. Finally got to hit me one. Glad I have a 9th grade knockout. Fun, Rick.
Sadly, this would be only the first of several incidents where Mo3's enemies in the streets would physically attack the man managing his music career. And unfortunately, the next occasion where fists would fly in Rainwater's direction would be much more brutal and much more closely documented. In December 2019, Dallas rap fans would be shocked when headlines hit that Mo3 had been shot in the head. He would go even further, supposedly posting footage of himself bleeding on Instagram after the alleged incident.
Hey, come on. I'm good. Shot me in my hand, grabbed my back. I'm good.
Now, it would later turn out that this shooting was entirely fake, In reality, it stemmed from a music video for his song Why, with the whole shooting thing just being a publicity stunt to promote his latest project, Osama, of course named after his destructive alter ego, Osama III Laden. This project featured numerous disses leveled at his ops in Dallas, as well as that scathing diss track 219, which had only raised tensions between the warring rappers in the city months before. But unfortunately, as we saw at the Dallas State Fair, despite Mo3 claiming to be untouchable, his feuds were beginning to affect those around him. And moving into 2020 once again, Mo3's manager, Brandon Rainwater, would end up being on the receiving end of a beating meant for Mo3. Reports would surface that in January 2020, an altercation took place at popular nightclub V Live. Allegedly, Mo3's manager, Brandon Rainwater, arrived at V Live strip club, being told by security to wait outside. Eventually, he was spotted by Yella Beezy and his entourage, at which point a security guard holding a gun approached him along with Yella Beezy. Apparently realizing what was going on, Rainwater tried to run away, knowing he was about to be attacked. And eventually, the full surveillance footage showing the entire altercation would surface online. But once again, that's far too brutal to show you on YouTube. But in the video, we see Rainwater run out of the gates of the nightclub entrance into the street, being chased initially by one person thought to be Yella Beezy himself, with Beezy grabbing Rainwater's coat, pulling it off and pulling him to the ground in the process, then beginning to punch and kick him on the floor. At this point, several members of the entourage rush into the street and join in on the brutal beating, with Rainwater trying to escape, ultimately being dragged into the middle of a busy intersection close to moving traffic. At one point, Rainwater is thrown in front of incoming SUVs, and it's honestly a miracle he wasn't run over and killed. Eventually, the group of around 5 people taking part in the beating would turn around and run back to the club, leaving a seriously injured Rainwater laying in a busy street, unable to get back to his feet as traffic speeds past him. Shortly after this, another clip would surface showing Beezy and his entourage running back to the club, with Beezy himself yelling on camera that he had beaten up Rainwater all by himself. This incident left Rainwater with a dislocated hip, and he would eventually sue Yella Beezy for $1 million in damages. And Mo3 would react to the news of the vicious assault on his manager in an Instagram live session, where he would say that his ops don't get any points for beating up a professional from the industry who isn't in a gang.
No points. No points. She gets no points. The video going around that hit the internet. The video don't surface. You can't judge no that's not like that, that's not cut like that, that ain't trying to be like that. Oh yeah, how we riding? No, it's Rainwater. Rainwater, I'm saying his name. Because I keep saying, whatchamacallit beats up Mo3's manager. First of all, I want y'all to understand, that's the only way the views, the numbers, and everything gonna go up because it got my name in the front of it. First of all, y'all taking it like whoop me or something. Dying me, ducking me, ain't trying to be no vicinity of me. I don't know why I don't feel it now, but you know what's up. Anyway, this ain't even about me. Fam, the video come up. I'm gonna show y'all both videos. Because guess what? They recorded. Rainwater, my manager, is not no street. He graduated high school and went to college. Sir, you get what I'm saying? He was promoting and throwing college parties for a living. He wasn't selling drugs. He wasn't gang banging. He wasn't locking beads and C's. He wasn't doing none of that. You get what I'm saying? Let me say that again. Rainwater, Mo3's manager, is not no street. He's not no street. He ain't out here. He put his pants up on his, you know, and whoop the whoop and, you know what I'm saying? Talking like he got some sense. You get what I'm saying? He's scary. He's scary. Why is Clyde chasing down a scary man? Huh? You don't get no points for that. You walk back to the car talking about, yeah, I beat him up. Guess what, they recorded. He's not street at all. He be mad at me for something that I be doing. And I gotta tell him, man, God damn, come on, Scary. Fam, y'all whoop the Scary. And y'all ain't even whooping good. I'm disappointed. If that was me and my partners, and we would have caught that boy lagging like that, we would get him dead. Y'all ain't doing that, man. Come on, man. Look when he busted. Come on, man. Y'all stomped on him a couple times, kicked him, tripped him. That's black. When you tell him, you supposed to go in. You supposed to go to the max. You supposed to get that boy to business. Why would you want a bunch of other big, ugly? Shake him. Fam, if
you like that, you could have just opened yourself. Then I asked him. Then they talking about where he ran. In 3, you see him running? I know he ran. I asked that hoe, I called him, I said, Rain, how did he run? He said, 3. They came out of nowhere. I said, how it happened? He said, I was feeling like in the club. I had got in the car. And they came out of nowhere. He said, and a couple of them had straps. He said, you already know how I feel about all that. I said, oh, yeah, bitch, you was a batter when you were gone. I see your face right now. I see your face right now. But I was trying to figure out, why did they do you like that? Did they thought you was me? Nah, they ain't thought that. Yeah, nah, you too tall. You too slim. Your haircut different. Oh, that's no pre-message. Okay. Then he telling me why he running. He's screaming, come here, sir. He's a high school graduate, went to college, / club promoter, now turned into a manager. So he doesn't have a track record, sir. He does now. The way you and the rest of you around down.
After this, Yella Beezy and Trapboy Freddy would take to IG Live themselves, going back and forth about the fight in a short freestyle.
Hey, what's up, Freddy? Hey, what's up, Freddy? Yeah. Hold up. Freddy, move here, running down the street, going that's it. What's your like yes. Hey, yeah, little Fred. Man, I seen that crazy. What happened? What's that? Little Rose. They fell all loud. What? What's that? Oh, man, you see that? Girl, hold on. I'll tell you.
And then a few days later, Mo3 would go live on Facebook once again, saying that he is blackballed by the industry and expressing frustration that if he did what Yella Beezy did, he would be in prison immediately.
Keep it real. If that was me chasing a manager down, who ain't even like it, chasing a manager down with my partners, and we do him dirty, I'm going to be bonding out. I'm going to be going out as soon as I get out of jail saying, yeah, let me tell y'all what happened. Woo. Go fast. Every time I pop up somewhere, I'm going to jail. Y'all stop ignoring the fact that every time I pop up somewhere, I'm going to jail.
He would go on to say that Beezy got exposed by the surveillance footage after claiming he beat Rainwater up all by himself, when in reality, it was a group jumping.
Why did you say you beat him up by yourself? Why did you make that video? I beat him up, me. I beat him up, me, by myself. That's first evidence. Then boom, we later on get second evidence that y'all jail. You beat him up.
Mo3 would even react to the footage and say that Yella Beezy's girlfriend was hyping the situation up.
She got your baby mom's at that big. What she say? Hold on, I gotta run that back. That's what you do, baby. That's right, baby. That's what you do, baby. Oh, wait, you can tell she ain't never seen jump. She was infatuated. That's right, baby. That's what you do. Girl, you don't get your big ass on and go sell the wig. You ain't gonna take that on and go sell the lace front. He ain't did nothing.
Mo3 would go on to say that Yella Beezy's homies would be mad that he was claiming credit for the beating and suggesting that local Crips were disappointed when all of the footage came out.
This is how the conversation went when they left. This is how the conversation went. So she said, that's right, baby. That's what you do. Go sell the wig, get your they got right in the car. You heard them now. Yeah, please, here go the other probably looking like, bro, you ain't gonna be a double man, bro. Damn, you ain't gonna say my part, what I did? Y'all gonna let me take all the credit? These videos come out, they talking like, damn. I seen a lot of statuses like that. Damn, cuz, let me there. All the crib niggas talking about, damn, cuz, let me there.
Mo3 would then go on to suggest that this must be the first time Yella Beezy has jumped anyone because of how excited he was after the incident.
He was having It's your very time jumping somebody? Oh my God, it's your very time jumping somebody? It's your very time jumping somebody? You too happy. He was too happy, bro.
Moving on from this unpleasant incident, thankfully, Mo3 was able to turn his focus back to music, with his next project giving him another taste of mainstream recognition. On Valentine's Day 2020, releasing a joint project with Boosie called Badass Mo3, with this landing at 135 on the Billboard 200 albums charts, and spawning the hit track One of Them Days Again, with that releasing with a video in July that today sits at close to 60 million views. It's possible that remaining so close to Mo3 during the peak of their beef made Boosie a target too, but more on that later. For now, Mo3 wasn't the only one in Dallas pushing their music career forward. In May 2020, Yella Beezy and Trapboy Freddy would drop a joint track called Ranks, which racked up 16 million views. And this was from their joint mixtape released around the same time, I'm My Brother's Keeper, which also had the track You Ain't Like That, an apparent Mo3 diss casting doubt on his gangster credentials, and the track Money on Your Head that seemingly confirms Mo3's claims that his rivals had indeed put a price on his head. But not content to let the beef settle, Mo3 would return with a new song in June, once again taking aim at his rivals. His new song, I'm the Truth, featured generic lyrics hinting at having done something to his rivals, as well as making a long speech on the outro calling Trapboy Freddy a backup dancer and claiming to have pulled up on him on his birthday, as well as suggesting that he pressed Yella Beezy on numerous occasions and saying he got his chain snatched at King of Diamonds. Clearly Mo3 wasn't going to let this beef settle anytime soon, and the following month he'd be seen on social media, seemingly mocking the ops once again, this time for apparently attending a funeral, and saying that when he used to be friends with Trapboy Freddy, Freddy would tell Mo3 to leave Beezy alone.
What's wrong with y'all, stupid? He ain't like that's like what? Who said you going to funerals? Ain't like what? Shut up. Listen, bro. Everybody know y'all niggas stick on celebrity every time. And you gotta come hard with it all week. He ain't like that. Bro, the backup dancer I already used to tell me when I used to come to the hood, I used to come to y'all hood. Man, these boys were kind of bro. These my people, bro. You know he ain't like that, bro. You know he not. I'm gonna make a song like he ain't like that. I'm the truth. Yeah, you talking about big old song, damn train. And then let me tell you this, you come home, we said my song, come home, they gonna do chicken numbers. Hey, you talking about drugs. Listen, I'm not talking about play Call of Duty, we talking about paying. I'm not talking about play Call of Duty, get you one.
With Trapboy Freddy responding to Mo3 in a tirade of posts on Instagram, suggesting that people dying in the streets is nothing new, and saying that Mo3 is hiding and not enjoying himself in Dallas, and that he will be killed when he is seen in public. Freddy would suggest that Mo3 only turned up beefing him at the store for internet beef, even going as far as to say that Mo3 is going to die wearing all his diamonds. Clearly this beef was far from over, and soon another escalation would take place, with Mo3 seeming to be put in the same situation that he'd been put in Fort Worth many years before, finding himself at a nightclub once again, being forced to use firearms to defend himself. On September the 19th, 2020, V-Live in Houston, Texas was hosting a twerk wars party when violence erupted in the early hours of the morning. The news would report that a rapper was targeted in a shooting, with some later suggesting that this was actually an attempt on Mo3's life gone wrong. ABC News reported that the rapper and his posse had shot back in a gunfight at the club, with the news stating that suspects opened fire at the rapper upon his arrival, with the rapper's entourage shooting back into a crowd.
According to Houston police, a rapper had pulled up in front of the V-Live Bar Lounge. As he pulled up, as Detective Graff said, someone started shooting at the rapper from across the street. The rapper and his group started shooting back, according to investigators. A crowd of people in front of the bar, as well as 2 employees, were shot in the volley of bullets.
It started roughly around 3:30 a.m. From what we can gather, there was a rapper here tonight, and as he arrived here, he began taking gunfire from unknown suspects. Fire was exchanged between the suspects and him, and then both him and the suspects fled. There were 2 people that were struck by gunfire. Both are being treated at hospitals.
Apparently 2 unarmed employees of the club were hit but luckily survived, with it even being said that one of them was shot in the head and another in the neck. But it seems clear to me that nobody died in this incident, but there did appear to be more to this story than was reported on the news, because the following month Mo3 would come out saying that Trapboy Freddy had recently lied when he posted that he was in a car accident, with Mo3 saying that Freddy really got shot in the shootout at V-Live.
laid up in a hospital, tell me you got no COVID. What if they thought you broke your leg? Tell you really got hit up. Yeah. Big Karen, when you got hit up, everybody know you got hit up. When you in the hospital, you telling people I'm retarded, don't put it out there, move, because you want everybody in the city, you want to touch them. Now, it's pressure. Somebody broke your leg in a car wreck. You a cool fan? I bet your brother sent up that nigga like, bro, so he just gonna act like he didn't get shot. So we just go, he gonna act like he ain't hit him up and can't lie. Stop playing. It's all who did. I'm just saying. Why you can't be like your leg got broke down? Sorry. Play it back.
With Freddie clapping back, saying that he only got grazed and that Mo3 should keep their beef in the streets and off the internet, even going on to suggest that Mo3's internet talk was getting people locked up, with Freddie suggesting Mo3 didn't even play a role in the shooting, and Mo3 would later go live suggesting that he had tried to keep things quiet about the shooting too, but suggesting that people in the city had called his mother to gossip to her about the shootout.
Your son got shot, girl. What are you out there doing? You know y'all always doing something. What the man out there doing now, girl? The man done got shot up, girl. My mama for real. When? Girl, you don't see it, he going down, girl. They done shot him up, girl.
After everything that happened between these two warring groups, it's unsurprising that when they finally ran into each other, the bullets would start flying. And it's honestly a miracle that nobody was killed in this incident, but sadly, this represented the final escalation in this war. At this point, it really seemed like there would be no backing down, and that Dallas simply wasn't big enough for all of these street rappers to coexist peacefully. And so, only a few weeks after this exchange would come the final chapter in Mo3's story, as he would ultimately wind up losing his life, ironically, in the very same way that Yella Beezy nearly lost his life only a few years before. Around noon on the 11th of November 2020, Mo3 is driving on the I-35 highway in Dallas after allegedly leaving the home of a female companion. Whilst he's driving, he begins to be followed by a black Chevrolet Camaro containing two assassins, with the moment this ambush went down being captured on a dashcam video. The assassin's car would eventually overtake Mo3, who at some point would work out that he was being ambushed. At this point, Mo3 would swerve to the right and slam the brakes, at which point the hitters in the other car realize that this is their only opportunity to strike in the middle of a busy freeway amongst speeding traffic. For some reason, Mo3 stopped the car, got out, walked around the back of it to the passenger door. It would appear that he was attempting to retrieve a gun from the glove box. At this point, the masked gunman hopped out of the Camaro, approaching Mo3's car with an assault rifle at speed. It would appear that Mo3 simply did not have enough time to retrieve his weapon, so he changed his course, instead attempting to make a run for it, sprinting south on the active highway. But unfortunately, Mo3 would not escape his shooters, ultimately being shot 9 times and being left for dead in the middle of the highway as the assassins fled in that same Camaro. And to make this incident even more shocking, Mo3's body would be left in the middle of the highway for a considerable amount of time before the authorities arrived, with numerous clips of his final moments being captured and uploaded to social media, but far too shocking to show you on YouTube. A member of the public was seen administering CPR as civilians tried to get the scene under control, but unfortunately, efforts to save him failed, and a lifeless Mo3 would remain laid out on the highway as shocked Dallas residents passed by. Eventually, the police would arrive and take control of the scene, with news helicopters capturing footage from the air, and soon the local news would be making full reports on this brazen broad-day murder.
A manhunt is still underway after a deadly shooting along I-35 not far from the Dallas Zoo. Investigators said when the suspect walked up to the victim's car, the victim got out and tried to...
Yeah, baby.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.